Luch, I need the go ahead.
We're good.
Yeah, but I mean a visual go ahead would be very nice. Very nice. And welcome back to the League of Kyle's Rivals Not Stupid podcast. I'm your host, Alex. This is episode 22, and we're recording.
It comes after 21.
Right after 21. Recording on the 11th of November, 2020, the year of absolute shit. Thank you. As always, I'm joined by the co-hosts, Lucho.
I will salute eternally today.
Thank you, sir. And my other co-host, Mike. Way to copy, Lucho. And now,
that's
new
stolen
guest.
valor.
New guest coming back for, what is this, the third time?
I believe so.
It's been a minute.
Third time since he's been on. You can welcome Tom. That's a salute.
Saluting everybody in the meme wars.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm decent, just decent. I'm just going to end it there.
He's decent. I'm glad to be back. Let's move forward.
My day has gotten a lot better now that I see this Christmas tree behind Mike.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Totally
I'm also
brand.
glad that Tom is supporting the podcast by putting up our sponsor of the Bins Game of the Week behind him.
Is it Fournette again? It's not Zeke anymore? Because Zeke's...
It's 100% Fournette again.
All right.
Eternally.
I changed it for a little while, but we went back to
says Zeke
Fournette.
on the sheet. I'm just saying.
It doesn't on my sheet. I don't know what you're looking at.
What? I don't know.
Oh wait, we have an Oh no, that's
There it
Alex.
is.
I thought that was an anonymous wombat.
Mike, Mike, we good? Tactical difficulties over?
Dude, at least once a week. Come on.
All right, so not too much to say here besides R.I.P. Dennis. We'll miss you. Yeah, we'll salute to you as well. And fan mail. We actually have fan mail this week. It's pretty nice that a couple people sent some stuff in. One of them just said it verbally to me about 2 minutes before the show. So that's where we'll go with right here. Fan mail number 1, and we'll save a couple others for later in the show. But fan mail number 1 was just a request by Phil. He said, you guys do a great job on the show, but he really wants me to host. Me as in me, not Phil. So go ahead. I'll try hosting this time, and
right.
if it doesn't work out, we'll move on to Lucho for his tryout next week.
Wow.
Great.
Pressure's
Already
on.
warming up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously on the hot seat. I'm always on the hot seat. Ever since me and Luch had a podcast way back in the day, I've been on the hot seat for hosting duties.
Well, I can't say that because that's an insult. I was gonna say you're like the Mike McCarthy because you're on the hot seat again. But
yeah, I'd rather not be Mike McCarthy.
Whoa.
yeah, I don't like that
He
comparison.
sucks.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about some Week 9 recap. Our guesses, by the way, our predictions of all our matchups. We went a big 6-0 this last week, so congratulations to us.
Yeah.
I don't know who disagreed with anything, but I knew there were some disagreements. But congratulations to the people who actually guessed wrong and just rode our coattails to the 6-0.
I think you guys only go 6-0 when I'm not on. I think that tells us something.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that it was actually me, Dennis, and Phil. So congratulations to the rest of the people on the show right now for getting credit for going 6-0.
Wow, congrats, dude.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
All right, so let's start this off with our normal weekly biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. And if everyone has the fantasy recap up, if you want to follow along at home, you can be on the website, go to reports, franchise, and fantasy recaps, or you can take a look in the weekly reports. That'll show you the potential points change out in case anybody's wondering there. Let's start with our Not Stupid Podcast game of the week from last week of Dennis versus Bruce. And I'm going to let our guest handle this one, Tom.
Whoa, that's me.
Let's get your biggest surprise and biggest disappointment of this matchup.
Well, my biggest surprise.
Well, first of all, what was the score? I believe.
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
The
yeah,
score-
sorry.
The score was Dennis had 165.18 and Team Bruce had 155.24. Close game, close matchup. It was a dogfight till the very end here. I think
Huge dogfight.
I think the player that really put Dennis over the top for the win And I guess technically the biggest surprise would be Kyler Murray scoring 40.92.
I feel like he did that so effortlessly too. Like I felt like you're following the score and then you check fantasy. You're like, wait, how? But fucking 100 yards rushing. Like
he's doing pretty close to what Lamar Jackson was doing last year in terms of rushing. It's pretty crazy. And the fact that Kyler Murray has had a rushing touchdown in every single game this week is insane. Or every single game this season is insane. This week.
He's real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? As for I'll do a disappointment for Dennis's team too. Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
2.36 points. You know what? I wish he played like that in New England. Let me tell you something.
I was thinking, I wish I knew a Pats fan. Maybe you'll have to ask Joe this, Lucho.
Yeah.
Does he feel good watching Tom Brady struggle in Tampa, or does he still like wish Tom Brady to
is
all
he
the success in the
struggling
world?
though?
Well, I meant this week.
He's throwing a lot of picks.
We actually brought this up to him this week in particular because of this. Because the Saints defense decided to actually show up this week. He he gave us the diplomatic answer, which is I'm really glad that he's doing well, and I'm glad that Bill Belichick also got the win this week. And then we pushed him, and he said, "Fuck that guy." So I think that's your answer.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Let's see. As for Bruce's team, biggest surprise, you gotta say Josh Allen at 38 points against Seattle.
He's back, hopefully.
He's back. And then my biggest disappointment,
Seattle.
I want to say Zeke,
exactly.
but I'm not. I'm gonna
It's
say Thielen with 5 points.
This actually, I had a point to make about because I feel like Thielen and Jefferson both kind of had weak games for their potential. With Dalvin Cook just literally the entire Vikings offense from a fantasy standpoint, I think a Vikings wide receiver I don't think has had a touchdown in 2 weeks. It's been Irv Smith or Dalvin Cook.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way the Vikings want to run their offense.
Right. So are we going to get to a point? Because look, I mean, Adam Thielen before the last 2 weeks, the top 10 receiver. Jefferson not that far behind him with his couple breakouts. Are we going to hit a point where maybe these two guys aren't exactly set it and forget it receivers? Like, is there a conversation of, do I have a better option?
I think so, because a couple of those weeks, if you remember, Dalvin Cook was injured. It was Madison in there. Also, even without Dalvin Cook injured, maybe their offense wasn't completely working the way that they wanted it to early in the season. But I mean, we've heard it all along. This is how they want to go. They want to have just the run game go crazy, and then normally have their defense do well, which has been.
I think this week.
Thing.
I think this week's the big test because Chicago, for all their flaws, very good defense. So they were able to. I know we're getting ahead of things, but they did shut down Derrick Henry. I know we'll get to that, but do we go into a week? Maybe if they can stifle Dalvin Cook a little bit, Kirk Cousins is forced to throw it, but it's also a Monday night game, so we all know he can't when it's nighttime. So I don't know. From my standpoint, it's concerning, and I'd imagine for Dennis, if he doesn't have that Justin Jefferson, granted his receivers are stacked, but
I mean, I think on a week-to-week basis, if you need to start Thielen, you can. Jefferson is tougher for me just because the type of receiver he is. Thielen can have that just giant, huge play out of nowhere. That's all he needs is one play, even though preferably he'd be a guy that gets tons of targets. But I think it almost has to be the perfect combination in order to start those two receivers. Say you had both on your team at the same time. And it would have to be a team that, one, is good at stopping the run, and two, has an awesome offense. So when you're talking about Chicago, yeah, their defense is good, but like Nick Foles can't do anything. So I would think that Minnesota's winning this game, and they continue just to try to run with Cook the whole game if they can.
Not just that, but to your point about them shutting down Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook is such a different runner than him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's a lot more suited to being able to carry them against that defense.
And Henry's been shut down a couple times this year. I don't know. He just doesn't look like he's not in his groove yet. It always takes some time.
Oh, well, it's not the last 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Fantasy
it's not.
Playoffs is when he kills it.
You're right.
I'm just playing the long game.
Just kind of a thought I was having because it's been tough because, two straight, at least, my standpoint of, like Thielen. I mean, I have decent guys ahead of him, but Thielen's been a top 10 guy, and if that falls off, that's troubling for me.
Yeah.
The
So,
problem
I
is, like I said, I think Thielen end of year is going to still end up one of the top receivers. It's just going to suck trying to figure out what week to start him.
Right.
Yep.
But I didn't know if anyone else agreed. I know Tom with Dalvin Cook is probably thrilled, but didn't know. Wanted some other opinions while we had both of them in the conversation.
Well, you got them.
All right.
I don't know, man.
Let's move on to our next matchup. I'll read the score out this time, so it just makes it easier for whoever's announcing the biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. But next matchup was mine, where I beat Alex Hochberg 152.92 to 94.74. And Bruce, I'll let you handle this one.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So listen, it was a rough week for Alex.
Hochberg.
Hochberg,
The lesser of the
obviously.
Alexes, clearly by this matchup.
So I'll start with him. I mean, biggest disappointment. Based off this roster, I don't know. Stafford didn't practice all week because of being on that COVID list, but I would probably say Tyler Lockett. I know you guys talked last week about the boom bust possibility of both Lockett and Metcalf. They kind of like trade games back and forth. But Buffalo's not. You figured maybe Lockett would blow up a little more with maybe Trey White kind of shadowing Metcalf. But 8 points from Lockett, I would say that's the biggest disappointment you can take.
Yeah,
maybe
Lockett too. When you look at his last 5 matchups, 4 of them have been under 10 fantasy points, and one of them has been 58. So
Right.
he's really the definition of boom bust right now.
And then, I feel like it's obvious his biggest surprise, Jacoby Myers. Was it him just playing the Jets, nothing else available, or is he becoming like a legit, maybe like a flex fantasy guy? Like, does his target share stay up? Maybe just because Edelman's out.
Jacoby Myers should have always been involved in that offense, in my opinion.
I think he is definitely carving out a role in that offense, and a lot of it is the fact that he's developing as a decent wide receiver.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't set aside the fact that both Edelman and N'Keal. I don't know about N'Keal, but mainly Edelman, who's been the number 1 target for the Patriots for the past whatever many years, is off the field. So obviously that helps Myers get 12 targets. But even say if Edelman was there, Myers would still be the wide RB2 and a pretty damn good one in my opinion.
It's tough to judge with our dynasty league, but Myers is a pretty good waiver wire pickup in redraft leagues at this point. I think he's kind of carved out that role for himself, where
like
in a redraft you can probably start him.
Like the
flex
past 3
wide
weeks,
receiver 3.
Not counting last week, the 2 weeks beforehand, he went 6-4-60 and 10-6-58, which is that's pretty good for a second option in a pretty run heavy offense.
I think Myers fits Cam Newton's play style really well, to be honest with you. Just looking, I only watched Myers against the Jets, but looking at what he did, just was like long curl routes, perfect for Cam because Cam scrambles and Myers is open in the corner of the field. His crossing routes where he goes 15 yards and crosses the field, I think he's really, really good for Cam. He just is that he runs just deep enough so Cam could scramble and do his thing and then randomly find Myers.
Tom, you watched that whole game?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, how much was it worrying you at that one play when Damiere Byrd caught the ball on the right side of the field and then ran all the way over to the left side and almost scored a touchdown? Since I know you were playing against Damiere Byrd.
It was tough times for me, man. It was just a bad game in general to watch because I want the Jets to lose and I'm a Jets fan.
We'll get to this matchup later, but without that touchdown, it wasn't really that close. But that one would have put Phil right back in it. So I just thought that was funny as soon as I saw it.
All right, shifting over to Safe's team. I'll start with the biggest disappointment with DeAndre Hopkins. He's kind of gone back and forth. Is there any concern? I feel like Christian Kirk's blowing up a little bit, getting targets.
Kirk has a little bit more chemistry with Murray from them having played together last year, but he's not.
And in college, right?
And in college,
I would only say the more concerning, like it's one thing to have 3 catches, but the more concerning thing is he only had 3 targets in the game.
No, he had 4 pass interferences, which don't count as targets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Howard was on him too, so they even were trying not to go super heavy into him.
Which
so
is
now,
Xavier Howard probably top 5 corner in the league.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Sucks that he's been on Miami, but
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, it's DeAndre Hopkins. You're not obviously. There's never a scenario where you bench him, but given you're pretty good at wide receiver. I didn't know if there was even a thought of, oh, do I question it?
nah.
I mean, probably not, but just figured. But for this week, biggest disappointment, just 6 points. No, I mean, you could say David Johnson, but he left with an injury very early, and I don't know.
Story of my team, man.
I know.
Injuries 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
I know you didn't play him, but Deontay Johnson got hurt again, right?
No.
Whoa,
What?
really?
Yeah, no, he did not.
Whoa, definitely thought he did.
Nope.
Holy
Nope. He
shit.
stayed healthy.
He made it.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you with biggest surprise. Evan Ingram.
You- I
Getting
can
his
agree
first
with that.
touchdown of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like since that, since that Eagles that drop,
That
Thursday
huge
Night Football,
drop. Yeah.
he's kind of been having the same year, but a little bit better since. So maybe 10 targets against the Bucks, 10 targets against Washington.
So when I
Just
looked
Eagles
at
again.
when I was looking, I was actually talking to Phil before this matchup, talking about how Evan Ingram has 0 touchdowns this year. And last year through 8 weeks, then he eventually got hurt. But last year through 8 weeks, he had 3 touchdowns. So I tried to figure out, how would Ingram be doing if he just had the 3 touchdowns like he did through 8 weeks, which is not asking a lot. And his stats are pretty much in line with everything he's done his whole career, other than the very first. The beginning of last year, he was the tight end 1 for like 5 or 6 weeks. So if you count that as an outlier, but for the rest of his career, it's pretty much right in line. So touchdown regression happens. I'd like to see that he finally got one, and Daniel Jones can actually throw the ball to him. More, not even that. More, Jason Garrett is finally figuring out, look at this tight end who's not Jason Witten.
Mm-hmm. There's your problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good win for Alex. Much needed on a 3-game win streak now.
Longest win streak of the league right now.
And you look good doing it, let me tell you something.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks. We'll move on to the next matchup. This one was Tom with 159.56 points, beating Phil with 144.78. Lucho, I'll let you handle this one.
Big rival game of the week.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was.
Let's take a look at the biggest surprise for the victor. Phil and Skylar sitting in a tree. KISSING. I don't even know if you can say biggest surprises are Dalvin Cook and Devontae Adams. Like they're great to see. It's a little surprising that Dalvin Cook went over 40 points 2 weeks in a row. But if you're gonna put your faith in a certain handful of players to be able to completely explode and carry their entire offense, those are 2 players you could reasonably expect it. Otherwise, it's a really good thing they did that. Because, biggest disappointment in my opinion, our Laird and Savior Patrick Laird.
You can't say Laird. Laird has never done anything ever. I know this personally. He was
How
on my
dare
team
you.
in the playoffs.
Probably biggest disappointment is Jared Cook not doing anything, barely in that game where they were just pasting Tampa Bay. Maybe Lamar too, but Lamar has been hit with a lot of regression lately, and Greg Roman's offense apparently is being figured out really easily. Because he was, a lot of teammates I saw were complaining about that the defenses were like calling out their plays, which is less than ideal. On Phil's side, I guess the Drew Brees trade is working out nice for him. But aside from that, it's disappointing that he just had to start so many kind of spare
Damiere
parts
Byrd.
guys, like Damiere Byrd and maybe
Preston
Preston
Williams.
Williams isn't really a spare parts guy. And both of them did pretty well. It's just
One of the
guess-
Dolphins got hurt. Did Preston Williams leave
Yeah.
early?
It was
Yeah.
Preston Williams. He's on IR now.
it's tough
Again?
to say.
Yep. He got hurt because some people say someone gator rolled him in the end zone after his touchdowns, but I think it was that his teammate jumped on his back and then he got hurt right after because he was celebrating his touchdown and dancing around and it seemed fine. And then his teammate jumps on his back, and after that, he never came back in the game.
Okay.
I think the biggest disappointment for Phil's team on a meta level is the fact that he had 96.1 efficiency and scored a pretty nice point total and just got really unlucky going up against Tom this week.
So biggest disappointment is Phil. Sorry, Phil.
Wow.
Um,
Biggest
yeah,
disappointment is
it's
his luck.
yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next matchup. This one is, let's see what we got on the list. We have Anthony with 134.04 points. It's a big score for Anthony this year,
Wow.
beating Lucho with 99.26, which I mean, I can't even say is really low score. Lucho's team has been suffering the past few weeks. Mike, you got something to say?
I want to take this one because
Yeah, go ahead.
I have comments kind of for Anthony here.
Go
So
ahead.
I'll go. I'm going to start with Lucho's team, and then I'll work over to Anthony's. Biggest disappointment for I mean,
How do you choose?
Jesus, Derrick Henry was bad. DJ Moore was bad. Mark Andrews continued to have a big time regression.
I picked Derrick Henry out of all those guys.
I mean, right. I mean, he's
based on
he's gonna have,
expectations of how.
yeah, he's going to have the most potential every week. Yeah, with 6.8. Biggest surprise? I feel like Cam's usually capable of 20 plus, and especially against the Jets, you'd probably kind of expect it.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't
maybe
say that's
John
surprising.
John Brown
Brown?
bounce back.
Yeah, probably John Brown. And I also want to comment on when you made that trade with Skylar and John Brown was the quote throw-in, and you had to take him. I didn't understand it at the time, and I don't understand it now because John Brown he's not obviously not the best. Stephon Diggs is clearly one, but when John Brown plays, he gets plenty of looks. So never understood that logic then, and I definitely don't now of how John Brown was this. You better it's not like we have contracts in this league. It wasn't like you better take this bad John Brown contract for me to make this trade. So I don't know, man. Again,
I really don't know. He got Emmanuel Sanders in return, which is,
it's kind of even. I mean, I might almost take John Brown more, but at this point,
maybe.
I don't know. It's irrelevant to me. But beside the point,
Lucho, I do like the fact that you have the John Brown heir in Gabe Davis
and Gabriel
sitting
Davis,
sitting on your bench. So it looks like as soon as John Brown's out of based on what we've seen this year, as soon as John Brown is out of there, he'll be taken.
There's a reason
over.
I tried to trade for Davis off season. I figured he would do something like this. All right, over to Anthony's team. Biggest disappointment. JaMychal Hasty. You figure I think the whole fantasy world was disappointed in him. You figure everybody was out in that San Francisco team, and he just
the man's last name means fast.
And then Kyle Shanahan played the guy who was tired. I guess I don't know if he had like tired legs, so like restless leg syndrome now, to where he got I think it was an 88% snap count or number of snaps played in that game.
Of course. Now he's probably gonna be tired this next week.
Just stay away from San Francisco running backs. Biggest surprise.
Mostert's there. It's the only one you can play.
Right. Biggest surprise, Curtis Samuel, who at what point is he going to be running back eligible? Because it seems that Matt Rule loves putting him back there, and he makes shit happen.
I mean, that's how he played in college, too. They were putting him all over as a gadget guy. It's nice to see somebody finally using him like that, because look at the results.
Mm-hmm.
Granted,
but Anthony gets the win. Anthony gets the win, but I'm gonna say this, and I'm not, and don't take this the wrong way, Anthony. If you hear this, I'm not saying this because he rejected a trade of mine. I think I offered him a second for Mike Williams, but Anthony's slowly slipping out of that top two, and I think if for someone like him, what exactly celebration? But for someone like Anthony. Listen, I think a second from Mike Williams is decent value. He wanted the Skylar pick, which I wasn't willing to give because I'm probably never going to start Mike Williams besides this week if I were to trade for him. But Anthony's slipping out of this top two, and I think the drop off between. And listen, I know he wants a quarterback. He could certainly settle for whomever the top position player would be, and that's fine. But if he really wants to be in the top two, I honestly think he needs to work out deals for Mike Williams and Curtis Samuel. I think those are two guys that are bringing his potential points up, and I don't necessarily think they're guys you need going forward in a dynasty league. I think you can replace those guys pretty easily, and I think they're dragging his points up and potentially out of the top two. I'm not saying this because I want you to make a trade with me. I don't give a fuck. But if you're that, his argument was, well, I need Kyle to make the playoffs. And Kyle's schedule is, I believe it's me.
We'll get
Dennis.
into it.
Me.
Exactly. But all I'm
I wanna-
saying is,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think there's moves to be made for Anthony to lower his potential points to make sure he can keep himself in the top two. Because
Yeah.
the
At
teams
this-
he's facing, it's irrelevant. They don't need to make moves. They don't have their own pick.
It's just
Anthony's
tough.
kind of in control.
It's tough because how much are you going to decimate your entire team for
But that-
one player? Pretty much, it's like
I get it, but
What's
if
the
it,
balance?
it's
Yeah.
tough to give up. Like a guy like Curtis Samuel, this might be his breakout. You know, he might actually be a solid piece on Carolina for years to come. He's 24 years old. It's hard to give up a guy like that. Even Mike Williams, now that he doesn't have Phillip Rivers, who couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field.
true.
You know, like I know Mike Williams has been on and off with injuries this year.
Right.
Like he kind of has his whole career, but he's had some good
Right.
games. And like again, guy just turned 26. It's tough to give
True.
up a guy like that. So
I-
I get it. I get
Right.
moving those guys, but it's very hard to do that.
No,
Or
and
unless-
I'm not saying just make a trade for the sake of it. Like it wasn't like I was trying to offer him like a blind bid dollars for Mike Williams. But like I
he
think
said you did offer him blind bid dollars for Mike Williams.
yeah, I offered him a pick and blind bid dollars. So he's a fucking liar if he thinks I offered just
No. He said both.
I offered him the same pick plus money, and then I texted him saying, okay, like whatever.
The way he
I-
was talking to me about it, because he did mention this. The way he was talking to me about it is just like when you look at what he's gonna get with like what was your pick? Was it? Whose
I
pick?
offered him my second, which
Yeah. So with what's most likely
It's a
going to
late
be a
second.
late second, what are you going to get? Another wide receiver who's a worse prospect than Mike Williams was coming out. I
I
get
this
it.
draft, not necessarily, but it was also one of those.
Well,
if,
a
you,
late
if,
second, I
you're,
don't
if you're
know.
hell bent on Fields or Lawrence, then maybe moving one or two guys to lower your points might be worth it in the long run. Because if you're going to make a trade, if you're going to trade up to get that pick, what you're going to need a lot to move up from 3 to 2.
If I were him, I'd trade Marquise Brown.
well, yeah.
But
Marcus Brown's not even the one
I
that's.
don't think he scores that much to
He's a boom bust though. He's a boom bust.
Yeah,
He'll have
yeah.
a week. He'll have a week before the end of the season where he almost has 30 points.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I
Not-
wouldn't be
not with that
surprised.
offense.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know,
You
man.
never know. There's just
I don't know. All I'm saying is if you're making other, like, all right, I'm not comparing Latavius Murray. I get different situation, but if you're making other kind of questionable moves to lower your potential points, I don't know. I get it. I get both sides, but if you're that hell bent on getting a specific guy, especially one of the top 2 quarterback prospects, I don't think it's that big a deal to move. I just think those 2 guys are replaceable going forward.
we'll see because there's only 4 more weeks of the season. He still is in the number 2 spot, and he did just get rid of his other QB. So
That's true.
I think he might have done enough to stay in that number 2
makes
spot.
sense.
So
I would also argue that maybe you trade Williams and Samuel and hang on to Carr because Carr might be more valuable going forward.
sure, I think it was the assumption that you're going to have his replacement, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Why not?
I get your side too. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. So the next one was a close matchup, a very close matchup, and we called it on the last show. Joey with 147.9 points beats Nick with 140.9.
Nick got hosed, man. Like
Oof.
that's just rough. If you said the Saints are going to score 38 points and Kamara's not going to have some bomb fantasy day, then wow.
I'm gonna handle this one because I have some comments about Nick, and I'm sure everyone knows this too, but I have some comments about Nick's team.
Go for it.
So we'll start off with the biggest surprises of both teams. Biggest surprise on Joey's side, I mean, I gotta say it's Christian Kirk for looking as good as he has. I know last week he also did very well.
I would argue McCaffrey coming back from the injury being that.
Yeah, I don't. It's
I think everyone
McCaffrey.
thought
They
he would
waited.
be this
They
week.
waited long enough so that he would come back healthy, and it's a little ironic that he ended up getting hurt and is now going to miss another week or 2 at least.
Oops.
But I just think Christian Kirk, the fact that it looks like he is actually developing into a competent wide receiver over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not just a this week thing. It's actually the past 3
Yeah.
matchups.
I think he was in the conversation of is it him or Andy Isabella that's going to get those that like wide receiver 2 work, and now it's obviously Christian Kirk.
Yep. So, with Joey's team, I think Christian Kirk is just a set it and forget it wide receiver now with the way that Arizona and Kyler Murray are playing.
Yeah.
The guy can get a bomb touchdown again at any moment, but he's also getting enough targets to warrant being in your lineup all the time. Biggest disappointment, obviously, on Joey's side is I got to do the Knicks side completely, but biggest disappointment on Joey's side is obviously Corey Davis with 0
Yeah,
points.
man.
The guy just looked like he was coming on, and then just to get
Just
he
get
got 3
blanked.
targets in the game, no
Yeah.
catches. I can say yes, it was the Bears, so that's a big reason why we weren't expecting too much out of him this week. But 0 is a little surprising there, especially when you see the other side with AJ Brown. He just figures out how to get points every week, even on limited targets if it comes that way. So on Nick's side, biggest surprise, I would say Jerry Jeudy. It looked like he actually had his breakout game this
Yeah,
past
for
week.
sure.
He was getting targeted early and often. 14 targets in this game, 125 yards and a touchdown. Touchdown was nice little turnaround catch, juke move, and get around the horrible defensive back on Atlanta right into the end zone. And biggest disappointment on Nick's side, I mean, it's got to be Cameron Brate with 0, but this is going to lead.
But I feel like that's not expected. It's like
Exactly. This is going to lead. I mean, yeah, maybe we could say, what you were mentioning, Mike.
Nick's managing skills are the biggest disappointment, honestly.
Yeah, no. And that leads right into what I was going to say. It's just Nick would have won this game if he's actually, if he's done anything. Because one, he's refused to address the tight end position on his team. So look what happened. He started.
Komet, though.
Yeah, he has Cole Komet, bro.
In
Sure,
his
yeah.
defense, if you're going to do that, if you're going to be stubborn and like not address a position, that's the position you want to
Oh yeah,
not
sure.
address.
Right, you can always.
But
But
you're right that this situation will arise at some point, and it just did in the worst way possible.
Just like throw fucking offers out. Like use your fucking late picks and like find some random tight end that might.
No
like,
way,
break.
bro. No.
But
Yeah,
Again, easy.
I
easy
think
for
I'm
me to
good
say.
this year, bro.
yeah,
Right.
no tight end. He's obviously with the injuries. He ended up starting 2 of them, and one of them got 0, and even the other, I forgetting 8.8. I think is
Is a lot.
almost a miracle.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say that would be the surprise of the week.
Could have been.
could be.
Could have been. And then also just the fact that he's still continuing to not have a second or a third quarterback to fill in. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo go down. He has all his
I
blind.
don't, to be fair now.
We have all his. Well, I was telling this to Phil. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or not, but I was definitely telling this to Phil that if I was Nick, with all this blind money, 1 week, just spend it all. Spend $100 on Mullins, spend $100 on Beathard when they were available last week, and just call it a day. And then you have at least,
But like, I don't listen. It's not. Listen, I'm not. People manage how they manage, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. Like, oh, I had a baby and I can still follow fantasy. But like, what? It takes 5 minutes to go and look at waivers and go, yes, claim a guy. If you're playing for money, I just think like you're playing for money. Like play like you have like it's $100, not a lot of money, but like play like you have money on the line. I just don't get you're essentially donating every year, which, hey, it's fine for the rest of us because you figure only 11 teams are active and have a shot now. But I don't know, man. It's just it's frustrating. And look, I get it. Like if that's Nick's strategy, I can't control what he wants to do. But it's frustrating when someone's inactive because you can't trade with them. They're not going to make any moves. So like there's going to be injuries and there's going to be bye weeks and they're just going to field a weaker team over time, which again, for the rest of us, you can kind of predict, all right, Nick's has this good record, but it's going to fall. And it's just like, I don't know, man, like what's the point? Like, are you in it to like hang out? Like, which that's cool, but that's what we have the redraft league for.
He's on the hot seat.
Yep, he is on the hot seat.
I don't know, man. It's just do manage the team, I guess. Like, don't just set a lineup and not look for another 7 days, I guess.
He's on the hot seat. And, this is actually, I'm going to bring it up right after we finish these matchups, but I do have something I didn't put on the show sheet that I need to bring up that some of you have already been talking to about. But let's move on to the last matchup here, our Bins Game of the Week, presented by Fournette and Anthony Lascauser Jr., the second junior. It's
Presented by Zeke.
And this one, I'm going to let Tom handle this Bins Game of the Week since, Fournette being Bins was the origin of all of that. So Kyle with 117.9 beat Skyler with 77.2. And go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, this definitely was the Bins Game of the Week. As far as Team Coach Dad presents live from Tijuana, Lucho Libre, and Donkey Show, I would say the biggest disappointment had to have been James Conner with 4 points.
Oof. Against the Cowboys too. I think all.
Did
the
you guys
Steelers,
see what was going on? He just wasn't on the field half the time.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, Benny Snell, go in. Anthony McFarland, go in." And
Yeah.
And Connor was on the bench getting talked to and then looked upset at times. And just
I don't know, man. Sometimes coaches with their running backs, it's wild.
he was missing blitz pickups.
He had a rough game. I was watching his I guess you could call it highlights, but his lowlights too.
Yes.
That he had a rough game, dude. He was doing bad. But on the other side of the spectrum, I think Kyle's biggest surprise had to be J.D. McKissick, in my opinion, with 17.20.
How did that happen? Like, I had Red Zone on. I wasn't really following the Giants.
14
but
targets.
that's insane.
Alex Smith, man.
That makes sense.
You got to
As
love
long
it.
as Alex Smith is the quarterback,
What
I
was
think
the target? Like,
McKissick was an actual
I know
option.
McLaurin did good. Did Gibson have, like, is he
no,
being
Gibson did
used
not
in
have a
the-
good game.
Not a good game, just is he being used is he getting targets?
No, he's not. It's McKissick was getting all the targets pretty much.
I mean, I guess in general. Like,
Oh, I mean,
like is
prior
Gibson-
to Alex Smith, not really. No,
That's crazy.
This was his breakout.
he had 1 target in week 7, by week 8, and 3 targets this past week.
That's crazy because Gibson's literally the gadget player you thought he was capable of, and then it's J.D. McKissick gets 14 targets. It's just weird. Sometimes the NFL is weird.
Moving on to my newly formed rival. I call him second in command because Phil's number 1 on my list. Skyler.
Man.
The biggest disappointment for Skyler, in my opinion, has to be Justin Jackson.
No, he
After
got
the
hurt.
talk, he got hurt.
Yeah,
got hurt
first play of
early.
the game.
I gotta say
yeah,
Jordan
for-
Reed. He got hyped up. He refused to even acknowledge my message that said, "Hey, would you trade Jordan Reed for 50 blind bid dollars?" Like right after waivers cleared, and then Jordan Reed went out and had 1 catch.
Did you guys know that Skylar has 8 tight ends on his roster?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Doesn't shock me, dude.
No.
Also, Darius Slayton had a dud of a game.
Yeah, bad game, especially against Washington. The only time Daniel Jones succeeds.
He was hyped up this year too, and
He got 1 target
That's brutal.
dude's whack, bro.
and had a rushing attempt for 2 yards.
But a bright spot for Skyler has to be Tua. He got 21
Yeah, it
for
looked
42.
so much better.
He looked really good. So congrats on Skyler for trading your entire future for the next 25 years to get Tua.
I've been tempted to sit and do the math with his team if he forget the Tua trade because it was just picks, but if he didn't decide to just trade Julio Jones and Derrick Henry and Kyler Murray and DK Metcalf, I would almost want to add up the points and see what his record would be this year.
Yeah, well, he did finish 11-2 last year.
Yeah, number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He would have had that rough patch when Henry was out with the COVID buys and Julio had the hamstring. But I think besides that, it would have been like, I think his team would be pretty insane with Murray.
He'd definitely.
Just look at Dennis's roster. That's why his team is so good.
I think he would still have some holes, so he'd probably be sitting right with all the rest of our 5 and 4 teams in the league.
Right.
But with all
But
that
so
being
would
said,
Dennis. So would Dennis.
Right.
with all that being said, just good for you, Skyler. That Tua seems to be panning out pretty well. So
Well, after a week of are the Dolphins going to move on after
That was such bullshit.
10 games?
yeah,
Yeah. Hey, man.
I'm gonna
Maybe
get
the
another.
Dolphins will move on.
I'm gonna get another Moscow Mule. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh man, I wish I had a Moscow.
Dude, these are
oh my
tasty.
god, dude, you're going to Russia in the middle of a podcast?
Yeah, bro. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
On Veterans Day.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna start.
Oh man.
I'm gonna save my next unexpected segment for later. We could just go over some of these quick things here while Mike is away. Current standings now. In first place, Bruce because of points scored, 7-2. Second place, Dennis also because of points scored, 7-2. Third place, Joey, 7-2. So we got a tight race for the top going on right now. Fourth place because of points scored, me at 5-4. Fifth place, Tom at 5-4, also high point scorer. Nick, there's a big gap between Tom and Nick with points scored, but Nick 5-4, and then Phil in 7th place, sitting outside the playoffs right now, 5-4.
He's got to get in that bubble.
Yeah, so I think
Close.
honestly, I think Phil has accepted that he's not going anywhere this year. I might have mentioned this last week, but I think he's on the side that now he's not going to try to be making the playoffs and see what he can do to maybe lower his points in the last few weeks.
Mhm.
Well, actually, no, he doesn't even know his own pick. It didn't even matter. It was more just move some of the guys that won't be useful for 2021.
Yeah.
Lucho in 8th place, 3-6 after this loss. Luch. I said it was looking pretty bleak
grim.
before, but we'll mention it right in the next segment. But it's you're getting very close to the end.
Yeah.
There.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
It is very unfortunate.
9th place, Alex at 4-5. 10th place, Kyle at 4-5. And again, obviously, 7 through 12 is based on potential points. 11th place, Anthony, 2-7. And 12th place, Skylar, 0-9. Still no wins. Let me ask you guys, is Skylar going to get a win this year?
Yes.
What's the schedule?
I don't know. Maybe we'll discuss it later. We'll save that one for a little later.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. Also, I want to congratulate Skylar. He now has the longest losing streak in league history. At 10 games. Anthony had 9 games.
Including the playoffs or regular season?
Including the playoffs, right?
He lost to end last year, and now he has 9 straight.
Man. Well, actually, no. Now that I think about it, Skylar had a bye, so he lost, and then he lost the 3rd place matchup to Lucho, so it's actually 11 games.
Golly.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. All right, next segment, Fantasy Pros playoff odds. Just like to give a quick update on this. Still no one clinched in a playoff spot. Bruce and Dennis greater than 99%, and Joey exactly at 99%. So it's looking pretty good for all
three.
three.
Can I just comment? I'm pissed. I'm mostly pissed at this loss because I really wanted to be that game up on, or I guess it would have been 2 games up on, or no, 1 game up on being
Joey.
closer to that bye.
Yep. Well, 2 games up on the. It would have been 2 games up, right? On the.
Oh, because 1st and 2nd, yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess I would have been 2 games ahead. But damn it.
Yep.
Oh well.
Next couple highest playoff odds. Big jump over the past couple weeks for Tom at 80% and me at 79%.
Yeah.
Nick starting to fall a little bit,
As
57%.
predicted.
Phil also starting to fall a little bit, 51%. But I find it funny that there's 7 teams all with greater than 50% odds of making the playoffs.
Because like 4 through 9 or whatever it is like a game apart.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy this year.
Yeah.
Next, there's a huge gap here, but next is Alex Hochberg, 15%, Kyle with 12%, Lucho, with 8%.
He took his headphones off of that.
Yeah, he did. Anthony, because of the win, still not out of it.
Oh
He's fighting.
Less than 1% chance, but there still is a chance. And as we covered last week, Skylar was already eliminated, so 0% for Skylar.
Dude,
all right,
these fantasy playoff odds, it's interesting to me because whoever gets that 7 seed really kind of gets screwed out of a spot.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking that for a while.
I think it's going to be tiebreakers, right? That loses out, like points scored.
It might be, but I don't know because Nick and Phil are both trending the wrong direction. So,
dude, is Kyle the luckiest 4 and 5? Like, I feel like he's just had like everything kind of balanced.
Do we want to? Yeah, let me take a look at the all play records really quick, and I can let you know how lucky Kyle has actually been with his schedule.
Kid's bins, dude.
Kyle has a 0.333 all play win percentage.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
worse. That's 3rd worst in the league. So, yeah, he's been a little lucky. And then Phil at 0.475 is pretty low too. But I mean, I guess he's the 7th seed now, so it's evened out a little bit.
Yeah.
Nick actually, with his all play record, looks like he's deservingly in 6th because it's a 0.515. So everyone else pretty much as expected. Mike, you'd have 18 losses now. So or not this week, but the previous week killed you a little bit.
The Phil week, because I only had like 110 or whatever.
But you snuck away with a win there. So, all right, before we head into the next segment on the sheet, now that everyone's back, I'm going to bring this up like I said I was going to. I already talked to Kyle, Anthony, Tom about it. I talked to Phil about it. Mike, I talked to you about it. So most people already know this. But Lucho, I don't think I mentioned it to you, so it'll be good to discuss with you. We know that Dennis is out of the league now. Right. So we're going to have at least one team up for grabs. I know we have Connor Campbell waiting to get in. So in theory, if Dennis was the only one leaving, Connor would just come and take Dennis's team, which is pretty nice for Connor because Dennis did a good job bringing that team back from the dead.
It's the curse of Deej's team.
Yeah, exactly. Right. However, we've all been expecting Nick to not move on to another year. I guess it's still technically up in the air because we didn't think he was going to play this year, and then he decided to do it, so he could decide again that he's going to do it. But if 2 teams leave, and then you never know if other people are going to quit. It could always just come out of nowhere. But if 2 teams leave, I was thinking that we could do a dispersal draft, have
interesting.
All of their and for anyone that doesn't know, all of their players and all of their draft picks go into a giant pool So it's basically like you're doing the startup again, except draft picks are now included, and you got to pick those over a player at any point you want.
Mhm.
For those two teams, obviously, I think we're talking about now Lawyer Rob being the next guy, and since he's one of the good guys in the keeper league, and he actually would probably do a good job in Dynasty, and I know he wants to.
Yeah.
So those two would obviously get to do it. Now the other discussion is with a dispersal draft that I think we would vote on this. I assume though that we'd vote to allow it, but that would give the option of current teams also deciding, do you want to be a part of the dispersal draft? Now, that means you're 100% in, 100% out. I know I talked to Tom about that. Can a current team protect any players and then jump in? No, they can't. It would have to be you drop all of your players, all of your draft picks.
Because technically everybody would do that. I would be like, sure, I'll keep.
Well, yeah, but then you could work it out. You could work it out. Say, oh, if you protected one guy, then you don't get a first round pick or something like that.
So just start pulling Vegas Golden Knights moves.
Exactly, but it would be 100% in, 100% out.
You would do it as a draft as opposed to an auction.
I didn't think about an auction.
Salary cap.
I didn't think about that.
That's interesting.
That's to me, if you're doing a dispersal for teams that just need to be filled out and it's not going to be equivalent value.
I'll say this. If let's just say, for instance, you have Dennis's team, Nick's team. Let's just say
Skylar's team.
Skylar and
Anthony would not be in with what? Because he has so many draft picks and he has a bunch of good young players.
All right. So now let's say you have Let's say you have 4 teams. The team that draws that first pick is getting Kyler Murray, and then the team that has that 4th pick is getting. Metcalf would go top, second maybe.
You might honestly. I think you could probably get Metcalf at 4th. No.
It would depend
if Nick is in there. Kamara's probably going second.
Yeah, Kamara's.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see.
There too, so.
And granted, and I'm just going to say that if we're voting to allow it, I'm all for it because then these rosters get evened out instead of one team being great.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm for whatever happens. If it's a draft, whatever type, I'm out because I obviously I'm as intrigued as I am. This is a great concept, and I'm almost mad that my team's too good for me to even consider doing this. I wouldn't be able to dump my team. But
now, the other thing I do want to mention is your official designation of whether you're in and out would be unknown to everybody. I would set up a third, not third party, but I'd set up an email address and just have everyone email if you're going to be in by a certain deadline. Right. And sorry, my battery is dying. I didn't realize I didn't have my computer plugged in. Yeah. So I just have them email that email address by a deadline, and then I'll go in and look at it. And then at that point, I announce everyone that's going to be in. So when you're deciding, in theory, you wouldn't know all the players that are going to be there. Obviously, you'd know Dennis's and Nick's team if those are the two teams are out, but you wouldn't know if anyone else could be in or out. So it's a risk, but it might be a worthwhile risk. And I would say did
you talk to Phil about this?
I did.
I feel like he would be interested in that.
Phil is definitely interested. So and I would think that there's a lot of potential of teams being in. Obviously, I think personally Skylar 100% should be in if he doesn't have the draft picks, the high draft picks.
I'm not trying to have, and granted, I don't think you'd have any good teams do it, but would you ever just throw this out even if we didn't have guys switching teams? Like, let's say you have
hit a reset button randomly.
Like, if 4 teams decided to jump in, would that be something you would consider? Like, even if we didn't have new players coming in?
Normally, no, but I guess if enough teams all brought it up and we voted on it, then sure.
But there should be a certain amount of time into the league too. I feel.
No,
you don't want to just get everyone constantly get a reset.
Maybe like a 5-year option or something.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's actually not a bad idea.
I don't know, because listen, I know it's a strategy, it's dynasty. You have to build your own team. You have to make savvy moves, do whatever. But at some point, if a team is just perennially,
but that's the point of you getting the higher draft pick every year. So just keep your own picks and
of course, I don't know. While we're
you can always, especially with picks, you can always say your teams, even with all your picks, you're not going to be good enough for 2021. Start trading those picks for later years picks. So you can accumulate so everything hits at once.
But great. Great concept. I mean, I guess we're 6 months out from something like that, but
actually, if I was to do the dispersal draft, I'd want to do it right after the NFL Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Because I'd want teams to have time to figure out their draft strategy and things, and they have to know their picks. And
that makes sense. You're right.
Yeah, and the fact putting it in that time, so our fantasy playoffs would have been over for about a month and a half by that time. It's a nice
people who or like have an idea of where they're at with their team.
It's also just
Yeah.
a nice buzz for the league during that dead period.
You'd
Sure.
also need a confirmation from Nick, like
Mhm.
right as soon as the season's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ask everybody. They have to let me know that. And like I said, I'm not gonna if there's other people in the league that want to leave, I'm not gonna judge you for wanting to leave. I'd hope you wouldn't, because that kind of sucks, joining a dynasty league and then deciding to leave just because you don't feel like
Fuck
playing
this.
anymore. If you have
Yeah.
an actual reason, then sure. But I'd hope that other people don't. But if you do, you don't have to feel like an asshole for leaving because other people are already doing it.
Yeah.
It just
Also,
makes
like,
it tougher for me to
That's
find
better.
people.
That definitely is also way better than just taking over a team.
Oh,
It's
for
not-
sure.
It's not fair to give someone Dennis's stack team and then give someone Nick's
team,
man,
yeah.
oh, like decent, but not. And then if
That's
like
that's
let's- like, let's-
difficulty
like, let's
levels
say-
in a video game.
like,
easy,
and I'm
medium,
not
and hard.
Yep.
and I'm not saying anyone's leaving, but like if a team like Skylar's team became available or Anthony's team became available, like if one of them were to leave, that wouldn't be fair to just
Yeah.
saddle somebody with that.
So that's what I was
that
gonna say. When you have one team, sure, just take over the team. If you want to join, you could decide not to join if you don't like the roster, whatever. But if you
Right.
want to be in the league, it might be your only chance, so take it. But yeah, it's unfair to try to designate which team goes to which person.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the only thought I had, like I said, I think you should at least consider salary cap.
Yeah,
for
I
the
don't. I
special
actually
draft.
don't mind that idea. I
There's
didn't
got to
even think
be
about it.
resources
I
out there of people
Yeah,
that have done
I
this.
think oh yeah, there definitely are, because there's a ton of like knockout leagues and vampire leagues and stuff like that do that.
Yeah.
But I just think it evens everything out as opposed to a snake draft, because then you're like assigning
Yeah,
draft
well,
value to
We're going
draft
right
picks.
back to the random horse race to decide the order, like we did for
Yeah.
the original startup.
hey,
For the
love you
original
guys
startup,
for doing that.
for the original startup, yeah, sure, it's still whoever gets the first pick is still getting advantage, but I feel like for a dispersal draft, the first pick is getting a much bigger advantage than even the startup, just because of the smaller pool of players.
And
And
you
you
have
know,
the context of the rest of the league as well.
and when you look at ours too, like if you look at the team, say it's just those two teams, even just that idea that whoever gets the first pick is getting Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
who's clearly the most
Right,
valuable
it's-
guy. Yeah,
right,
DK
it's a
Metcalf
lottery.
is valuable too, but Kyler is the most valuable because of Superflex.
I guess I guess
I guess it gives
only 'cause-
Skyler a chance to get Kyler Murray back if he joins.
That's true. To be honest with you, I feel like if I would just I would spend a good percent. Like I don't know what strategy to even do. There's no concept for me that I've never done it, but I would spend so much money on Kyler Murray and then just build
Well, then, yeah, maybe draft a bunch of the draft picks.
yeah, right. Like what value? I guess I don't know. The salary cap intrigues me though.
It's
I'm-
tough because there's a lot of
I'm
thought
so-
having to go into what they're worth, and
I wish we'd be able to do this on broadcast this because it would be. Could you imagine if everyone?
we
Was able-
could.
I could live
Yeah.
stream it on Twitch.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
but it would be. I know, but it would. I'm trying to think of people with technology and figuring shit out and
Well-
doing it. I think it would go off horribly. I think in my mind it sounds like there would be this ridiculous auction, but I think it would go off horribly. What do I do now?
Hey, listen, it could be on my Twitch. Shameless plug. T-Pop 1993 at Twitch.
Whoa,
TV.
whoa, whoa! Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Twitch.
we definitely could do that. We could do that. We could put it all on a Google Doc, and I could commission it and do it not even from Tom's. Tom could be the Twitch host, but I could be the commissioner, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
actual
dude,
doing the
I'm
draft. So.
I'm so excited to watch this thing that might not even happen.
Oh yeah, I know. If
The
Nick decides to
pickers
say
in.
it's not even happening, so but we'll see.
Alex, I can also run a Twitch stream where we run it together, and I have one page and you have one half of the page.
oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
kind of like this. I could run a stream like that.
Nice.
Yeah, you could honestly if the way that I record this, I could just stream this screen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out
Or
when
like
the time
Cam
comes.
too.
But
The light bulb went
there's
off
a
in
lot of-
Alex's brain. Dude.
it's a
A
good.
lot of moving parts. A lot
I
of.
like the
intriguing
idea of
things.
it. I like the idea of giving the current teams an option to do it too, because
Yeah.
there's some teams that definitely, in my opinion, definitely should be participating.
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. The only thing I don't like about that is you're letting the teams that ruin themselves correct themselves.
I don't
Kind
think that's
of,
a bad thing.
One
But-
time only though.
It's
Yeah.
kind of you are, but at the same time, they're
Not really. You're
they're
taking
only
a bunch of
selecting.
shit.
Yeah, they're only selecting from the player pool
It's
of
not
what's
like
available. Like it's in
not
general.
Like it's not like an expansion draft where we're putting up players.
Like the only thing that I'm thinking now with this, say we had like a 5-year option of this, the thing that sucks is it would always be just bad teams. So okay, you have the reset button, but you're not gonna have anything good to choose from. You might as well just stick with what you
Right.
have.
Right.
So Maybe I'd be against that option to do that, but
Makes sense.
only have this come up if we actually have managers changing.
Or just while we're throwing shit at the wall, ideas.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to our next segment. This is the biggest segment of this show. We got our guest. Well, not just for this, but this comes along with bringing this guest on. So it's always nice to have you on, Tom, because you have some valuable content every time too. But
thanks.
We have the MFL power rankings. Oh, wait a minute. No, we have Tom's power rankings, which are miles ahead of the MFL power rankings.
You already know, man. I put a lot of time and effort into these rankings here.
Tom, take it away.
Hey, look, we named the current standings through week 9, so everyone should know those standings now. What I have for you guys is my power rankings, my current rankings, my projected standings for every team, and if you guys want to pull up your schedule tabs, I have the wins and losses for each player for each week remaining.
Oh,
could you do this from the bottom up, please?
I could, dude. I do a lot of things from the bottom up, and then and then I have my projected final standings where I have my top 6 with the playoffs, and then the bottom 7 through 12.
You predicted the playoff matchups as well?
I didn't go into details with the playoff matchups because last time we did that, I feel that we kind of just, all right, 3 versus 6. Well, 3
would win, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So I did the top 6 and then 7 through 12 in the order that I think that the draft would end up being. So, without further ado, my power rankings after week 9 go as follows. Number 12 would be Skylar. Number 11 would be Anthony. 10, I have Kyle. 9, Alex Hochberg. 8, Nick. 7, Lucho. 6, Phil. 5, Joey. 4, me. 3, Alex. 2, Mike. Number 1, Dennis.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I had to give Dennis a nod after last week's performance against you, dude.
In case you guys want to know, when I was looking up the playoff odds, I did check the rest of season power rankings on Fantasy Pros, and Dennis is also number 1 on there.
Wow.
It's probably just Kyler Murray, I guess, puts him over the top, and Metcalf now.
It's the spirit.
He's got a lot of things.
I mean, our matchup was so close. If Aaron Jones gets 1 touch on the goal line, maybe it's a different story.
He has the biggest advantage now with Travis Kelce and no George Kittle in the playing.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I got to trade Darren Waller. Holy fuck.
You were shopping him hard. Also, I want to apologize to Dennis publicly because I put him at 4-9 for the year before the season started, and he's currently 7-2.
I mean, he's made a lot of moves.
But if you take Murray and Metcalf off his team, and I wonder what the record is, you know?
Yeah,
it's still better than 4-9.
He'd still be pretty.
Probably, but hey, you know.
But it is what it is. Getting into my projected standings with the win-loss record, I'll start. Well, I'm going to start with you, Mike, because I have it in this order. I have Mike finishing the year at 10-3. I have you.
1 seed.
Oh,
2. 1.
What?
2.
What?
1 seed. 2 seed.
Hold on a second. Well, you're going to be the 2 seed.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you're going to be the 2 seed.
Guaranteed to play for money if I get a bye.
Yeah, I have you winning week 10. I have you losing week 11 to 4-5-6. Fuck Mike Kane.
Josh Allen.
Fuck Mike Kane.
And now no Kyle Allen to have any super fun.
Yeah, and then I have you winning week 12 and week 13.
Joe Flacco's available, Mike. He's out there.
He sure is. Hang on.
So I have you at 10-3. Dennis, I have at 11-2. I have him winning out 10, 11, 12, 13. I feel like his schedule is not too bad, to be honest with you. He plays Anthony, which
Kyle.
Yeah. Who else? What's his name? Benny Cashman.
He plays me in week 13. Just week 12, he plays Phil. Anthony, Kyle, Phil, me.
So I do have him winning out. It is what it is. I like Dennis's team a lot. Third place, I have Joey going 10-3. I have him losing week 10 to Phil, and then winning the rest of his matchups.
Let me guess. Those were probably pretty easy to pick since it's Skylar, Anthony, and Alex Hochberg.
Yeah, so Joey's coasting. He's on autopilot mode. Number 4, I have Alex Sape at 8-5. I have him winning week 10, week 11, and week 12, and losing week 13. And week 13, you are facing Dennis.
Yep.
So that's my official prediction for you. 5th place, I have myself at 8-5 as well. I have me winning week 10, winning week 11, losing week 12 to Mike Kane, and winning week 13. 6th place and getting the final playoff spot, in my opinion, is going to be Phil. And I have Phil finishing 7-6 with a win week 10, lost week 11, lost week 12, and a big week 13 win.
Hey man, that sets it up how I pulled. That sets it up how I did it last year. So
Yeah.
Phil, 6 seed, man.
So that's my 6 seed. It's going to be very, very close, in my opinion, between Phil and the 7 seed, which is going to be Nick. I have Nick losing week 10, losing week 11, and winning week 12 and 13.
So Nick is also 7-6.
And 7-6.
Do you have any other 7-6 teams?
Nope, just those two.
Man, so yeah, so as of right now, Phil is about 70 points back of Nick, so
Oof.
he'll need some
But
good
if
scores.
Nick doesn't make any moves, which he won't,
Yep,
I'm
that
projecting,
points,
with only one
without-
quarterback.
without Jimmy G, without Eckler still.
yeah, they're going to shut Eckler down at some point, I'd imagine too.
Yeah, so
Eckler,
we'll see.
yeah, I don't think he comes back if they
that bad.
still don't have any
Oh
wins.
yeah, definitely not.
They only have one win, right? Or did they get a
2.
Herbert got one win? Oh, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Herbert got one win. Then they have the Tyrod win from week 1.
It's Tyrod.
Sorry, Tyrod. Just like how it's Robert Tunyon.
Yeah, Tunyon, dude. All right, so finishing 8th place at 6-7, I have you, Lucho. I have you winning week 10, 11, and 12, and losing week 13. Who have you losing to week 13? To Mike King. That is going to be, in my standings, that would be the biggest matchup, because if you win out, I feel like you make the playoffs. In my
See, now
prediction.
Luch with points scored, his potential points are great, but his actual points scored, Luch is about 130 points behind Nick. So that again, then what?
Yeah,
How
that
long-
is
how
rough.
much do I have? Yeah, there's a lot of ground to make up.
Between my poor efficiency and the fact that I think I have the most points against, it's just been a rough year. It's been a very, very bad year.
Let's take a look at these points against.
Yeah,
we
you-
have
You and Joey are polar opposites. I feel like
Mine
these
are
matchups.
mine are
Luch. You
up
do have
there.
Lucho. You do have the most points against by about 9 points over Skylar. So
Really?
that makes sense. So and
Mine,
Joey,
mine were up there because those first couple of weeks, I
Mike,
needed
you have
the
the high-
200.
you're in the 1200s. You and Tom are both there. So the one with actually the least points against is Kyle. He's
Kyle?
just over 1,000, and then me, which I'm just under 1,100.
Wow, nice. Where did I leave off? Lucho? 9th, big drop off here. Have Alex Hochberg finishing 4-9. I have him losing out the rest of the way. For some reason, I don't believe in your team, Alex. I'm sorry, and you've been kind of proving me wrong this year because you do have 4 wins. I predicted you earlier, I think, with 3. So
You know, he actually has some players here that, he still has 2 QBs, Stafford and Baker.
yeah,
Chris Carson, if he's healthy, that's a solid option. He's getting by with some of these other guys. Well, DJ Dallas was filling in for Carson, but Lindsey was in for Gordon a little bit at one point. Jamal Williams was in for Jones, but he doesn't. Boston Scott was in for Miles Sanders, but he doesn't really have a legit second running back option. But then he's getting wide receiver production out of these random guys: Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Lockett blows up
Dude,
some weeks.
Nelson Aguilar is blowing me away this year. Like that dude
He's-
couldn't catch last year.
He looks good now. It's funny.
That Philly firefighter dude must have lit a fire under him or something. The guy that
I would
had
say
a
that
baby.
they trained together in the offseason,
Yeah.
catching babies.
yeah.
And Alex has Michael Thomas now. He's got Sammy Watkins going back, so he's got some things. And then Gronk, if Gronk can do anything unlike last week, it's not a bad roster, to be honest. It's just not a great roster.
I feel there's a lot of plug-in guys. in
Yeah,
that roster.
definitely.
But nevertheless, moving on to 10th place, I have Kyle finishing also at 4-9. I have him losing out the rest of the way too. I feel like Kyle's luck has to end eventually, man. It has to end.
Yeah.
He's gotten like the best matchups. I feel like him and Joey have gotten the best matchups all year long, and I think Kyle's luck has come to an end, unfortunately.
All things considered, though, we thought he was going to win what preseason? What 2, 3?
He got a
After-
couple wins that we weren't expecting.
And he's at
Yeah.
4 now.
Yeah, I forgot what I had him at.
He
but
made some moves. He got James Conner, which helped a lot.
I remember on the podcast you guys did say Kyle built his team up just enough to kind of screw me out of the pick that I want.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but
you were
yet,
expecting it to
you
be the
still
number
might-
one pick, so you're
Yeah,
not
But
getting
now
that.
the top
but
now top 2 is pretty solid though.
Top 2. However, I do have Kyle giving me the 3rd pick in the draft because I
which
do
is
have.
still an awesome pick.
Yeah, it is. I just have Anthony retaining that 2nd pick, finishing 3-10, and he gets one more win in week 11, and that is against Phil. I have Anthony beating Phil that week.
Wow.
I think Phil has a bunch of players out. He has Allen Robinson out that week. He has let me see. Let me click it real quick for you. He has Tevin Coleman, Brandon Ayuk out, Anthony Miller, who he's been playing, Allen Robinson. All those guys are out. So
And he's
Makes
got the
sense.
injuries. Yep.
that's Anthony at 3-10, and then Skylar I have finishing 0-13.
Oh,
I-
no way.
I have him going to
a
over.
powerful showing.
I was,
Oh,
I was talking about. We'll talk about this in the matchups too. But I play Sky this week, and it's the perfect week for me to play Sky with the Chiefs on a bye. I've got
Lucky fucking piece of shit.
I've got a million running back injuries. Don't know if Joe Mixon's going to be back. David Johnson now has a concussion. Mark Ingram, even if he's doesn't really make a difference. If he's back, it's probably worse. But it sounds like he's coming back. So no J.K. Dobbins is that great.
Yep.
You know, like I said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire's on a bye. It's like I don't know anything. I'm probably starting, and they're saying Kenyon Drake now. He's returned to practice. So
Yeah.
after he has a slight ligament tear. I guess he's fine. So there goes Chase Edmonds. Not that he did that much either. So it's like I'm gonna have the Joe Mixon or Giovanni Bernard and Naheem Hines. Like that's such a good time to play Skyler with that and no Mahomes and Ben Roethlisberger with 2 hurt knees and on the COVID list right now.
However, when I played Skylar scored pretty damn good. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I know
Yeah.
it is, but
I know that's what I
I
was gonna
was
say.
also gonna
I had a-
say-
It's gonna
I had
feel
a tough time
horrible.
with him. I had
It's
a
gonna
tough
feel
time against
horrible if I give him his first win.
I was also going to say I think Skylar's best shot of winning this season is against you, Alex. Right, with under your current circumstances.
Yeah, he'll just need to score more than 77 points like he did last week.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I
And
mean,
86 points that he scored the week prior.
We'll get into it.
Skylar's averaging 109 points per week. So
When was the
Not the
last time he
worst.
even scored that much? He hasn't scored.
Against me, he scored like
Yeah. Week 5, he scored 150, but ever since that 150, he hasn't scored more than like 103.
so his average is clearly skewed.
It's because he kept moving players. Because he scored 123, 111, and 90, and then the first week he had 136. So
So there you go. Those are my rankings in order from 1 through 12.
what are the playoff matchups then? Can you just repeat that real quick?
Yeah, no problem, dude. Let me grab my notebook. I have Dennis and Mike on bye weeks. I have number 3, Joey, playing number 6, Phil. Number 4, Alex Sape, playing number 5, me.
I don't like that. I think I'd rather play Joey or Phil.
Yeah, when I was doing this, I'd really rather be the 6th seed
Yeah, I know.
because I think I'd rather play Joey.
Although I think I'd rather have no offense to you, Mike, but I just don't want to line up with Dennis's team. So I think I'd rather be
Hmm.
the 3 seed is probably the best spot to be.
That's what I remember
Oh,
saying that
two
last. I remember saying that
obviously.
last year. I said I would rather be 6 because then if I win, I get Skylar in the semis instead
Yep.
of like whoever else.
Well, now it's I'd rather have not the 1 seed if it's going to be Dennis.
right. Wow, the fantasy foosball left.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see. We got 4 weeks, and it seems to be a thriller. I while I was making the list, I will say, Lucho, you really have a shot. Like, still, you just gotta score points.
What's that line that what's his name said. Hawkeye said in Endgame, "Don't do that. Don't give me hope."
Lucci walked away when I was announcing it, but you do have a shot with 8% playoff odds.
Oh, awesome! Great.
You just can't lose
will,
a game.
Will 8%
Yeah.
buy me a bottle of sleeping pills so I can kill myself?
You heard it here first, folks.
Luch, to be fair, at least you got year one paid for when it looked pretty bleak then too.
Yeah, that's true.
By getting third place, you had a big second half comeback last year, so gonna have to be even a bigger comeback this year.
Let's hope.
Miles Sanders coming back though, so it's exactly what happened last year with Miles
That
Sanders.
actually is exactly what happened. Is Miles Sanders came back and then Joe Mixon woke up.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, let's move on to the trades. It's a pretty quiet week of trades again, but there is one big trade. We already mentioned it before, but Joey traded his 2021 first-round pick and Jared Stidham to Anthony for Derek Carr and Anthony's 2021 third-round pick. So, most likely a mid to late first and Stidham for Carr and an early third.
I think Mike has something to say.
Mike, you have something to say?
I'm just. It is what it is that I didn't make a deal with him. But once again, Anthony wanted the Skyler second this year and my first next year for Derek Carr, and of course the trade that goes through is a lot less than that.
I would argue that it's not less than that because that 2022 first to me means a lot less than that 2021 first. Though.
Yeah, the 2021 first I'd much rather have than 2022.
So you would rather take the 2021 first than the 2021 Skyler second, which is probably going to be 13th, and a 2022 first.
I think I like that deal better that you were saying, Mike, but not by much.
Yeah,
it'd be different if it was Dennis's first or something.
That's insane. That's insane. That you like. I don't understand how essentially two firsts
Well,
is greater than just.
I think the top 10 in 2021 is kind of the line this year, like how I think it was the top 8 or something last year, top 9. I don't know, but top 10 I think is the line. So then you have 11 through like 18. It's pretty much all the same. So with a Joey pick, I mean, as of right now, you'd think he has a decent shot of being a top 10 pick. So I just want that, especially because the 21 class it's very similar to the 2020 class, and then the 2022 class doesn't look that great right now.
That's fine, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
I understand. I'd rather have what you said, Mike. I'd rather have Skyler second this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, I wasn't making that deal. I'm just saying that's what he wanted from me, and then
gotcha.
And then
well, that makes sense. He was holding out for a 2021 first, and it worked.
He's stacking up 2021 first.
It made sense because someone was going to want a QB eventually, and Derek Carr was pretty much the best one available. So,
yeah, there's nobody available now except who's Kirk Cousins is still on the block. That's it.
Drew Brees, I think, is on the block with Phil too.
Right.
But still, Carr is still the best.
I don't think Phil is getting what he traded back for Brees.
Oh no, I don't think so either. So. All right, not much else to say there. We already talked about it. Notable waivers. I really struggled to put anybody in this list.
Dennis threw money at a couple guys that I don't know. It is like Devontae Booker, whatever.
We're in week. I was just saying this to Anthony. We're in week 10. You don't even really need blind bid dollars anymore because it's so little impact for the rest of the season. But we'll talk about it. We had 2 picks last week before the week began that look okay. Dante Pettis, Mike, you picked up as a flyer. That's all we really need to say. Joey picked up Salvin Ahmed, who ended up having a pretty big role for Miami with Myles Gaskin hurt. He just is able to do what Miami wants to do with their running back, unlike Jordan Howard, who literally
Howard's back, baby. 10 rushes, 19 yards.
Just a goal line back now, yeah. So
fucking Patrick Laird sucks.
Dude, I can't believe
I could have told you that, Tom.
I can't believe I drafted Howard to be running back 2 in redraft. What a fucking idiot I am. Thank God I got like Robinson and shit in redraft. I'm good, but
yeah,
man,
I got Robinson too. Speaking of that, Mike, your Yahoo redraft league is not, or team is not doing that great.
Falling apart. It's rough.
I changed my team name to Dalvin and Friends in that league because Dalvin Cook is just carrying my team.
I have nothing.
And the Chipmunks.
That week.
I should change it to that. Thanks, Luke.
No
that week I had
Venmo me 5 cents for the Raleigh licensing fees.
Got you.
That week I had to start Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's just been downhill since.
Lucho, you could actually just send me $37.95 for YouTube TV.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm sorry, I've forgotten to do that.
You're good. Now for the the couple of pickups. I mean, I didn't even put everything from this week, but Dennis threw $47 for Devontae Booker. Yeah, Josh Jacobs was kind of limited in that game, it seemed like.
For a fucking quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Making me lose my mind.
No one else bid on that, but whatever. Like I said, at this point, it doesn't matter. Dennis picked up Olamide Zaccheaus from Atlanta.
That's also just whatever for me.
Yeah, just Atlanta's offense looks a little better. Yeah. He's taken on a role of the third wide receiver, it seems like. So $42 on him. No one else bid on that. Joey picked up Richie James. I feel like reading that name, it just doesn't sound like it's an actual NFL player, but I know it is.
I think he's a 1 week wonder because so many guys were hurt. He was like the only guy. Trent Taylor proved he's dog shit.
So what Shanahan said was that 85% of the or 85%, not I guess 85% of the targets, but he said 85% of the game plan was all about Brandon Ayuk, and then that late Brandon Ayuk is now on the COVID list, screwed everything. So
I also don't believe him.
So they kind of just put Richie James in the role that they were going to have for Brandon Ayuk.
I just never believe a word he says about his players.
Yeah.
Also, Joey was at my house at 8:00, and as soon as 8:00 hit, Joey goes, "Fuck! I spent way too much fucking money on Richie James. I actually think I was gonna win."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he spent $33 on Richie James, and Tom was the only other one that bid $7.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the big section that everyone likes of the show. The Week 10 preview and predictions.
Love it.
You get a lot of people heated listening to this section, apparently. I know Kyle has some strong words every once in a while.
I love watching this podcast every week with Kyle. I just want to let you guys know because he gets animated.
Yeah, that's why he changed his team name to something making Lucho his number one rival because he was upset about something Lucho said on the podcast.
Yeah, it was the most minuscule of things, Lucho, too. It wasn't – I forget what it was, but it was like –
I don't even remember what it was, too, but he was like, yeah, and then 2 hours later he was just like, oh, whatever, I don't even care anymore, but –
Yeah, Lucho, you said one negative thing about Kyle's team, and Kyle goes – he stares at the TV, he goes, I'm changing my name.
I want to shout out Tom and Kyle's podcast. Very entertaining first episode.
Yeah, we're the bad boys of YouTube. We got taken down 4 times. It's crazy.
How this hasn't been taken down, I'll never know.
We're working with a new platform to get it up on a different platform.
Oh, what's the new platform?
I can't say that, dude. I can't say it just yet.
It's
honestly,
RedTube.
Not even lying. Could be a sponsor in the future.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a second episode in the works?
We have a second episode already recorded.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So, third episode's coming this week.
I actually never listened to the first one, unfortunately. I keep forgetting to listen. But when you get them uploaded, I'll go back and if I've listened to them already, I'll re-listen to them too.
To be fair, the first episode's pretty secret. You needed an email address.
It got emailed to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's privately emailed. Just let us know if you want it, anybody. To be honest with you, we need the criticism. We just want to know what was good and what was bad, but whatever.
Halloween movies aren't my biggest thing, but I still enjoyed the list. But I'm just not.
That's what I said.
If you do Christmas movies, though, I'm in.
Well, it's seasonal, so every single week we're going to do something like that.
And you can have me on to debate that Home Alone's not a Christmas movie. It just takes place at Christmas. It just so happens to take place at Christmas. But carry on.
Wow. All right.
That's like saying Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
Stay woke.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Stay woke, everybody.
So obviously Home Alone's a Christmas movie too. All right, well, moving on. Week 10 preview and predictions. We got a couple bye weeks here, some big ones. The Kansas City Chiefs on bye, the Atlanta Falcons on bye, Dallas Cowboys and New York Jets on bye. So no one can start your Joe Flacco's, unfortunately.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Jet up.
All right, so once again, I've chosen the Not Stupid Podcast Game of the Week and the Bins Game of the Week myself. If you guys disagree, let me know. But Not Stupid Podcast Game of the Week, we have Bruce at 7-2 playing Kyle at 4-5. I chose this. I'll just give a little reasoning for why I chose this. But I chose this one because Kyle, I think this is a make or break game for him. He really needs a big upset win against Bruce right now to stay in contention for making the playoffs.
This might be the week to do it, maybe.
I think Kyle's season's over if he loses because his points won't get him in a playoff spot at 7-6.
Exactly. So that's why this is the game of the week. It's a pretty entertaining one. And
So
it's a
I
big one.
have. I mean, Zeke on a bye, but to be fair,
Well, that's probably good for you.
I was probably gonna bench him anyway, but I also have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley on a bye, Mecole Hardman on a bye, which in a week where
And on the COVID
Falcons-
list.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just.
Oh, he's on the COVID list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a, he tested positive.
I don't know
Or he
yet.
Just close contact.
I don't
Never
think they
not
said.
disclosed.
Yeah,
The fact
never
that they
said.
haven't said makes me think it's just close contact.
It usually is.
Yeah.
I had that like when I saw Baker go on it, I was like, "Oh, where's Case Keenum?" But I was like, "Oh, the Browns have a bye. It doesn't." matter.
Case Keenum's on Lucho's team.
Exactly.
Holler.
Next couple,
What?
Matt. Let me keep going through the matchups, and then we'll say who's gonna
Oh,
win.
yeah, go for it.
Rest of the matchups, we got Skylar versus at 0-9 versus me at 5-4. I debated this is the Bins game of the week, but I thought that was a worse one here. Anthony at 2-7 versus Dennis at 7-2. Joey at 7-2 versus Phil at 5-4. Nick at 5-4 versus Tom at 5-4. That's a big matchup as well as the Joey and Phil one. Those are a couple important matchups. And then the Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Lascazzo. JR the second junior. Alex Hochberg at 4-5 versus Lucho at 3-6. Sorry to make this the Bins game of the week because it's not horrible. I just think they're two teams that aren't in the playoff hunt really.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Is
Let's
it,
go get Rocco.
that's
He's-
conflict of interest. He's already my lawyer.
Wow.
I
Is this the first-
I haven't received a retainer.
Oh, that's because he doesn't have teeth yet, dude.
Is this the first game, Ben's game of the week without Anthony or Skylar in it?
It might have been. I'm not sure.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
but yeah, I
Man,
thought that was,
How do I have a worse fucking win-loss than Peanut, man? What the fuck?
For now, dude.
yeah, for now. According
Oh
to
my
Tom's.
god.
Hold on, let me go. I gotta check out these all play records again. Luch, you are. Where are you on here? 41-58. Peanut is 38-61. So you've had some worse luck than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still
All right.
Yeah, 414 win percentage is not good, Luch.
no.
But all right, so predictions. Let's start with at the top of the Not Stupid Podcast game of the week. Bruce versus Kyle. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick the order of who's deciding these. I'm gonna let Bruce pick his own matchup first.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I mean, look, I have a million buys, but at the end of the day, even though I'm scrambling for like a wide receiver 4, if I really stop and think about it, if that's what I'm scrambling for with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley on a bye, I'm doing okay. Like I can still start Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, hopefully the return of DJ Chark with not Minshew in the lineup for at least one more week, because he actually had production with his targets. It wasn't just bullshit targets that Minshew probably threw past him, but it counts as a target for Chark. And then I guess I'm going Henry Ruggs. That's my best option. It's either him or Darnell Mooney for my wide receiver 4,
Who are the Bears playing?
Minnesota. So like
And
that's
the Raiders
my-
are playing Denver. I think I'd start Mooney.
That's what I mean. Yeah, right. That's my kind of like only thing. Like I think I was gonna start just Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. Obviously, I have my 2 quarterbacks and Darren Waller. I'm gonna say myself. I think with Kyle, I think as lucky as his team's been, Nick Chubb's back this week, I believe. So that's gonna cut into Kareem Hunt's work.
Honestly, Kareem Hunt was better with Nick Chubb on the field, like fantasy points wise, not only
Okay.
NFL points wise. NFL.
Who the
style.
Browns play this week?
Don't know.
Ravens.
That's
Right.
tough.
Who yeah, it is. Kareem Hunt might be better against that team though.
Possibly. I mean, obviously Joe Burrow. I mean, I'm banking on Kirk Cousins being dog shit in prime time.
They played the Ravens week 1, and Kareem Hunt had 12.1 points.
They do not play the Ravens this week.
Is
Oh,
I was completely incorrect.
they
I'm
play
very
the
sorry.
Texans. Oh, okay.
okay. Well, then, all right. Hunt's gonna feast.
Sorry, I can't read.
Does he start? Does he go kind of sneaky and start McKissick?
I think he
I
has to.
I
Does
think he definitely
he
does.
has CD. He has CD Lamb on a bye. He has Michael
Yep.
Gallup on a bye.
I think he
Okay.
starts Connor still, and I think he starts
Yeah.
McKissick and starts 3 running backs because
And then he'll start, I guess, Antonio Brown, T. Higgins, and Devontae Parker.
Yeah,
You
probably.
kind of have to in that case. Yeah.
Either that or he doubles up with AJ Green.
Sterling
That's
Shepard's not
sus-
Sterling Shepard's not a bad option, but that's about it.
They're playing the Bengals are playing the Steelers. I probably wouldn't double up on Bengals wide
Yeah,
receivers.
I might
Yes.
even sit T. Higgins for Sterling Shepard in that case.
And then obviously, I guess Jimmy Graham. I mean, or Jonnu Smith, whatever you want to go. I don't.
I think he definitely plays Jonnu Smith.
Okay. Obviously, Njoku was like half an option, but now I think.
Yeah,
think
I guess Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith has kind of sucked,
Yeah.
but
Ever since he got hurt.
But
Yep.
I mean, I'm
Ferkser-
I'm still confident in my roster over his. Even
something
with
that's
all the
scary. Jonnu Smith since week 6, 2, 4, 2, and 2
buys. Oof.
targets. I don't have Ferkser up right this second, but let me get it. I just know this off the top of my head. Where is Skylar's team?
Ferkser was dropping passes last week.
Oh yeah, he was, but he was getting the targets. Here's Ferkser. Since week 6, 9, 2, 3, and 6. So he's been getting more targets. I think his snap percentage has also been higher than Jonnu Smith, especially this last week. That was the main one. That 6 targets for Ferkser. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I still like on paper, like I was worried about Aaron Jones last week, but then like Matt LaFleur's playing him in the fourth quarter, letting him take hits in a blowout.
All right, Mike, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna say me. Like I always hate picking myself in these things.
Oh,
but
I have to pick myself now because apparently whatever I say about my team comes true. It's
But,
happened for 5
I
weeks
mean,
straight now.
Nice.
I have to. I mean, listen, Kyle's been lucky, man. If I have a couple of shit players, if you never know, but I'll say myself.
Lucha, what do you think for this matchup?
Mike.
Tom?
I have Mike winning.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty close, but I do also have Mike winning. So
I do.
All right.
I do agree that it's gonna be close.
Yep.
Unanimous, though.
So next matchup, Skylar at 0-9 versus me and 5-4. Since I made Mike choose his matchup first, I'll just choose my matchup first. And like I said, I have to choose me because I can't choose against me anymore. So me, without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, even with all the Chiefs buys, I mean, you're still decent enough at quarterback with Big Ben, assuming he's off the COVID list. I'd imagine he is.
Yeah.
And then Drew Lock. And then I mean, your running back, like you already kind of went over your running backs.
Yep, I went over it, but I have all my
the
wide
receivers.
Yeah.
The receivers are too good, and then even Evan Ingram's just better than whatever he has.
We've basically gone over this matchup already earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe Skyler falls into Jacoby Brissett at some point, but even still, I doubt he starts him if the Colts want to bench Rivers.
Do
No
they start?
way.
I think if it's late enough in the year, say if the Colts are out of playoff contention, then I think they start Eason.
So
If
do
they're
I.
Yeah.
If they're
Yep.
in playoff contention, yeah, I think they start Brissett, but I think it would require a Phil Rivers injury in that
Is
case.
Mostert back yet?
No,
Or is he another
he
week
just got
on
declared
IR?
out. He
Yeah,
got
he's
declared
not.
out.
All right, and then it's all right. So then, I'm glad I messaged him about Mostert, but didn't get anywhere. Apparently, Dennis was going to trade him Gordon Landry and a pick for Mostert.
Oh, was that
which-
the discussion they were having? Because Skylar told me, he's like, "Oh
Golly.
yeah, me and Dennis were working on something," and I didn't. know
Yeah,
what
and I was like, I can't match it with a running
It
back.
doesn't shock me. Skylar has only made deals with like 2 players in this league and won't enter anybody else. So
Well, one's me.
One's me.
So. Oh wait, Mike, do you have a deal with Skylar?
Hang
For
on.
Henry.
Oh yeah, so it's actually been 4.
I guess
players?
I'm just salty, bro, because
I guess
I've
it's just
offered him
you.
numerous trades and he won't answer.
Guess it's just you.
Devontae Adams for DK Metcalf didn't answer me.
I'll give you 2 firsts for Devontae Adams right now.
No, I'm good, bro. AJ Brown went for 2 first.
No, I'm good, bro.
I think
Okay,
AJ
Adams
Brown's.
is
I
good.
think AJ Brown's worth more in a dynasty league.
Yeah.
I don't know. Devontae Adams is still
Absolutely.
what, 25?
How old is Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I guess he's old as shit.
Devontae Adams is turning 28 in December.
No. Yeah, but dude, he
Yeah,
puts-
no, I don't even know why I'm looking at this. Alex wins.
It's the same as Devontae Adams is like a Hopkins. It's the same thing. They're both. worth.
Yeah. I
Like
also,
that
by
vibe.
the way, I have Alex winning this.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
dude.
Yeah, it was kind of
handily wins it.
All right, next matchup: Anthony 2-7 versus Dennis 7-2. Nobody on this podcast is in this one, so I'm just gonna have Tom. You're the guest. What do you think's gonna happen in this matchup?
I definitely think Dennis is going to win this matchup. As far as it being much of a game,
Anthony's been surging a little bit the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's been surging. Dennis is missing Crowder. Dennis is missing Tyreek Hill, and his
Kelsey. That's actually a
and
little
Kelsey.
tougher than it looks, but
That's
he still
tough.
has Tunyon though, which is
Yeah,
good enough.
I don't think Chubb comes back this week. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think they give him 1 more week.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb and say this game's gonna be closer than people might think it's gonna be.
Well, Anthony has no P Ryan though, so
He has Pirine. That's it. So, and you know what? It's weird with these like bottom tier teams. Like Skylar's put up points a lot of weeks. Anthony's put up points a lot of weeks.
I narrowly beat Skylar and Anthony, which like I only beat Anthony by like 5. That one was way too. That
wow,
one.
Mike, your team must not be that good because I demolished Anthony.
Well, I'm gonna pick Dennis, but I think it will be close.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, man. Murray's just too good, and Metcalf is just always that boom potential. It's just too good. But again, it's fucking fantasy. You never fucking know. But it's Dennis. He gets Fulgham back. He gets,
Lucho?
I think Anthony's gonna cheat like he did last week. I'm gonna hack
What do you
the
mean
system. Huh?
Oh,
He
okay.
beat
Hack
me,
the
he
system.
cheated.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
Collusion.
So congratulations. Dennis is still gonna beat him because Dennis is gonna overcome his dark deeds. So congratulations, Dennis.
And I'm actually gonna say Anthony wins
Wow.
by less than 10 points.
Even when he's having problems with his P Ryan.
Yep. I'm gonna give Anthony the win, the surprise win here. So
Wow,
moving on to
nice.
the next matchup, Joey 7-2, Phil 5-4. Lucho, what do you think's gonna happen?
I actually like Phil in the upset on this one. Joey's team is strong, very strong. I always go to try and fucking open Phil's page, and every time I get the.
Joey's missing Denzel Mims. That's it.
Who, by the way, looks like he's actually a pretty good receiver.
Yep.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is going to be in matchups and lingering injuries. Like it's very likely that he's going to be without Kenny Golladay, or at least not at full strength. And that's
Phil's gonna be missing his best player, Braxton Berrios.
Oh well, then fuck it, it's over. I feel like a little. Joey's due for a little regression, and yeah, I mean, I just really I have a good feeling about Phil's team, and I'm still not
Mike,
opening his page,
you look
so I don't get that
distraught
fucking noise.
about Lucho's pick here.
Is McCaffrey is he ruled
Yes.
out?
He's out.
McCaffrey's out.
I mean, Mike Davis is still such a good fill-in though, but he ran out of steam like
He's been slowing down. Yep.
that last week without McCaffrey.
Antonio Gibson was out of practice today.
Yeah, Gibson's been struggling a little bit.
Henderson
Same.
dealing with that thing. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Rams, I think I mentioned this on the podcast that Cooper Kupp hurt his wrist and nobody said anything about it. McVay finally comes out today and goes, "Oh yeah, his wrist is hurt." So
Wait, is he out this week?
well, he actually missed practice today. He's missed practice because of some other injury, but he might have missed it anyway with the wrist. So I actually think Cooper Kupp's not playing.
I mean, I just think I don't know.
Not
I
that it
think,
matters.
Russell Wilson's too good, even with the I guess you could say down week last week against Buffalo, but he still had a good fantasy week. The Rams
All right,
is tough though.
I'm picking Joey.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't see how Joey his team's just been so good. I think he keeps it going. He's somehow overcome every little obstacle all year. So why wouldn't he pull out another win?
Guys, we are about to have some conflict because I'm picking Phil.
Oh boy. So we have to have the tiebreaker.
Oh, Drew Brees questionable though.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna flip this Canadian quarter.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Is that a loon?
No, it's a quarter.
They actually have quarters up there.
Yep.
Yes.
It has
Jesus, that place is weird.
it has a caribou on it.
Gotta love caribou. The first time I ever heard about a caribou was in Jimmy Neutron, by the way.
Okay, so about this coin flip, let's see. We're gonna say
I'm absolutely putting in the brain blast noise
if
over that
I'm
silence.
gonna say it right now. So if someone was to be a caribou, would it be Joey or Phil? And that means that the other person would be the Queen of England. Think about this
Oh.
wisely.
I think Joey would be the Queen of England.
That's what I think too. I also think Phil easy would be the Caribou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey's just a good kid, and Phil's about to get hunted by me.
All right, here it is. The Caribou has won.
Wow, dude.
Phil.
I'm not going to say that was a rigged coin toss, but we didn't see it.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I already put it down. But if
Yeah, what's done is done.
if Phil wins this matchup, then I'm gonna flip this coin every week for him to see if he wins or loses for the rest of the year.
Tradition.
The power of the coin.
Maybe next time I'll go with this Canadian nickel. It has a beaver on it.
Ooh,
Uh,
I could see him being a beaver too.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for adding that. Anonymous sheep.
We need to make sure the anonymous sheep is all about accuracy.
All right, next matchup. Nick 5-4. Tom 5-4. Tom, this is your matchup. What do you think's gonna happen?
I'm gonna go ahead and take myself here.
Yes.
I will, especially since you just told me Cooper Kupp might not be playing.
Yeah, that was going to be my comment. Nick's just, again, it comes back to you make no moves, you have injuries. What do you expect?
You're not
Yeah.
insulating yourself from fragility.
I'm picking Tom. Luch, you agree?
Yeah.
All right.
It's Tom. I don't even wait on like he started Chris Thompson last week, and nobody's gotten healthier. So that's it.
All right, and for the Bins game of the yeah, honestly, now that I think about it, that one could have been in contention for the Bins game of the week just because of it not being really like a discussion on who could win. All right, Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Lascalzo Jr. the second, JR Jr. the third. Alex Hochberg 4-5 versus Lucho 3-6. Lucho, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna. You guys are gonna find me having died of autoerotic asphyxiation
Yeah.
when I take a short lead in the early game window. Unfortunately, at my funeral, you will read off that I have eventually lost to Alex.
Luch, you have only Russell Gage on bye.
Well, fuck.
Oh, and Andy Dalton, technically.
Well, Andy Dalton's got the chest pains, so I don't even have to worry about him.
And the headache.
The headaches.
And Alex is missing Sammy Watkins, and that's it. This doesn't seem like we talked about all these bye weeks. It's mostly me and Dennis because we have the Chiefs players,
Yeah.
and then Mike with the Falcons players. Yeah,
I'm missing Matt Ryan.
that's true, Matt Ryan. Too
That
bad
was
Mitch
kind of
Trubisky's not
too.
playing.
We would have said that, but we didn't have to discuss your matchup.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
okay, so he has Rodgers and you have Lamar. All right, whatever.
I don't know. It's like when you look at Alex's roster, like it's good. I don't know, man. I think it ultimately is going to come down to just Tyler Lockett have that big boom game. Who said whole? Oh, Phil said. Phil said whole lot of boom.
Yeah, a whole lot of boom.
Are they playing the
Um,
Rams?
He's boom or bust, and he's gonna need a whole lot of boom.
That was. I mean, just kind of looking at it, it's like.
Did
I
he
feel
say?
like
Wait, did he say that about Tyler Lockett?
I thought he said it about his team in general.
Oh,
but,
it
like,
might have been his
I
team.
was
say.
like saying it like in this context, saying like, oh, if he gets like the boom game from Tyler Lockett, it might make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I was Phil. Not to really get too far off and go back to Phil's team, but I did say a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Damn, Phil, you have the scariest team I've ever seen. They could just completely go off and beat anyone in the league, or they could just score like 0 points."
Yeah.
And now
I
everyone's
think
hurt.
I
so.
think his running backs are just not like he. I think he's at one. If Carson plays, he's at one. I guess Philip Lindsay, but that's it. So he had all those backups with options the last couple weeks, like Boston Scott and Jamal Williams, and maybe Duke Johnson this week, I guess.
Oh
but-
yeah, he is. No, yeah, I don't expect David Johnson to play. Just
Yeah, so it's just one of, but you're grasping at straws for running backs. I mean, we know about his receivers, but I think if Miles Sanders is back for sure.
yes.
I don't know.
Oh.
I thought he said limited in practice, but we don't know if he's going to get.
It's
Sometimes it doesn't make
Wednesday.
shit, though.
We don't know if
I
he's going
think
to get a reward.
I think if Miles Sanders plays, it kind of flips it because then he doesn't get Boston Scott, you get Sanders back. I think that makes a huge difference because your receivers are good enough to compete. I mean, I'm assuming you'd start DJ Moore, Mike Evans is
No,
annoying.
I'm not starting DJ Moore against Tampa.
Okay. Bob Woods.
Bobby Trees.
Yeah. So Woods, Evans, and John Brown.
Let me. I just set my my lineup.
And
Let me see
would
if I can
you?
find it.
Would you? I don't know what the. I know you. I mean, you have really great tight end options. Out of the three, do you go with Andrews again, even the struggles, or do you like someone like Goddard's back, Hooper's back?
Right now, I think I'm pivoting to Goddard.
Okay.
My lineup right now
against the
is
Giants.
Cam Wentz, Henry, Sanders, Brown, Cooks, Evans.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Yep. I am cautiously optimistic about Goddard over Hooper right now.
I think that lineup's better.
I'm starting Goddard in the redraft league, and I feel pretty good about it. So I think I agree with you.
Against the Giants, I would feel good about it. Yeah, I go Lucha.
I also go Lucha.
Luch, and you picked yourself?
No, I picked myself to die in a horrible sex accident.
All right, so I actually am picking Alex Hochberg here because I think he's just going to end up playing spoiler to a bunch of these teams he has to play for the remainder of the remainder of the year. Let's see, what was his schedule again? Let me pull this up.
Oh, that's
Alex Hochberg. Yeah, I'm gonna have to flip it. This time we're gonna choose the nickel.
Oh shit.
Where is his team? Oh, here we go. So he plays Lucho, Tom, Nick, and Joey. They're all potential playoff teams. I think he's gonna piss off some teams here with getting some wins. But all right.
Interesting.
So we need the tiebreaker now. If you guys were to choose, sorry, Lucio, I think you would be the Beaver, and Alex Hochberg would be the Queen of England.
Are you calling me a pussy?
I am not. I'm calling you a.
Oh, really? Because it sounds like you just called me a hairy beaver.
I'm calling you an excellent carpenter.
Oh, thanks. Just like Jesus, he died in a sex accident. Too.
All right, guys, what do you think? Who do you think would be?
And this doesn't get taken off YouTube, but my fucking podcast does.
All right, Lucho, you're definitely the Beaver then, and Alex is the Queen of England. Let's see what happens. I dropped the coin. We'll have to.
I saw it flip this time though.
Oh, you need me to show it flipping? Hold on, let me get some airtime in this.
There it is.
We have the Beaver, folks.
Wow.
Oh.
Lucho wins.
Yeah, bro. Let's talk about Quibi. Get out of here.
Hey, look. Don't spoil too much of the podcast, all right? One day it will be on a platform.
Oh yeah, sorry. I did the same thing.
Dog shit though.
I did the same thing as last time, where I was supposed to fill in the standings during the show, and I just didn't. Sorry for the hiccup here, but for the predicted post week 10 standings, we have Bruce at 8-2, Dennis at 8-2, Joey 7-3, myself at 6-4, Tom at 6-4, Phil at 6-4, Nick 5-5, Alex Hochberg 4-6, Lucho 4-6, Kyle 4-6. I didn't bother looking up the points scored here, so I don't know this exact order of that. Anthony at 2-8, and Skylar at 0-10.
All right. Sounds about right.
It does sound about right. Now I'm curious about this point scored again, just to go take a look. So Lucho is would be ahead of Kyle, but behind Alex. So I had it in the right order. All right, perfect.
I was behind Alex.
You are. Alex has 1,107 points, and Lucio 1,095. It's very close. Everyone's very close, and then Kyle has 1,081.
So I'd have to beat him by like 12 points, at least 12 points.
That's true. You probably, if you win this matchup, most likely you're completely gonna. But actually, you know what? It was we didn't put that. You win via Canadian nickel on here.
That's true. No, we said that
deal.
I won with a whole lot of boom.
Well, and a whole lot of boom.
Yeah.
But all right. So next segment, we're coming to the end of this episode. I hope it's been a good one for everyone listening. We have a couple fan mail submissions. I know Mike has these on his end, so.
I have two. So I guess question: Does Blue's Clues do email now? Like they don't actually get They don't get
might.
letters anymore.
They might.
I mean, I don't think anyone watches Blue's Clues religiously,
Well,
and I'm
since-
certainly not at that point yet.
Since you have a letter, can you recite the song to us?
We
I
just
did-
got a letter. We just got a letter.
We just
I
got
did
a
see-
letter. Wonder who it's from.
I
Thank
did
you.
see that.
Bitch.
I saw a thing that was like, the U.S. counting votes for the election, and then it goes Nevada, and it just has that song playing every time.
That's a good one.
Wait,
Um,
Blue's Clues. I just googled it. Gets emails instead of letters now.
I
This was
fucking
brand
thought I
new
heard
information to many.
Oh my god!
We just
wow.
got an email. Doesn't even slide off the tongue like we just
does
got a
not.
letter. I can't sing that shit.
That's just wiggity whack.
We just got an email.
Technically, this is a postcard.
We just got a
From Rocco?
Rocco.
Oh, from my lawyer.
It was who this made out to? Podcast dudes.
Nice.
It was addressed to fan mail.
Well, let's
So,
tear
I mean,
this
clearly,
thing up.
we're the only ones that have fan mail in the entire world. So
Yeah.
So these are food related. Which rest in peace to the food question going
yeah,
forward.
the official retirement of the food question goes out with Dennis.
Ouch. Goodbye.
But
It was a segment that I'm not gonna lie, I did not enjoy.
you're a piece of shit.
But I'm happy that Dennis was doing it though. But, you know.
All right, so I'm just gonna read it from Rocco. Hey, Dad and friends. What is the superior milk? Oh, that's funny because that's all he drinks. I'd like to try some strawberry milk someday. The Nesquik original powder goodness kind. Thanks, bros. From Rocco. Wow, that's very good handwriting and very good vocabulary.
I was
for
gonna
a
say,
2 month-
when did Rocco learn all this?
I don't know.
News to you, Mike.
It wasn't for me. I can't pronounce shit if you listen to previous episodes.
Rocco's like the E-Trade baby.
Well, he is a lawyer, so it makes sense.
I mean,
I guess I'll answer this. What is the superior milk first? And I mean, considering I hate most milk to begin with, it's chocolate milk. It has to be that. But the vanilla almond milk,
I was
the
just gonna
sweetened
say,
version,
I buy vanilla almond milk as normal.
sweetened
milk.
or unsweetened.
You know, obviously I like sweetened better, but I know it's much worse for you. But I do
It
buy
is.
sweetened. 'Cause
Right, same.
I don't care.
Right, same.
I'm a strawberry milk guy.
Whoa.
The Nesquik strawberry? Damn, bro.
Just to make you guys laugh with this question, I did pick up one of these and drink it today.
Oh, wow.
Yoo-hoo.
The not milk.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
the
is
chocolate-
Yoo-hoo
sorry.
milk
The chocolate drink.
chocolate flavored product.
And you can pick up Yoo-hoo at your local convenience.
Chocolate water, bro.
And the ball is caught by Tyree. I am all about fair life.
Also, don't forget to pick up your Ping golf clubs.
Damn it. I am all about fair life because fair life is real milk as opposed to lactate, so it's not overly sweetened, but it still doesn't have lactose in it, so I can drink it without feeling like I'm gonna die.
Oh, it doesn't?
Nope.
That's big because
Yeah.
lactose bothers me bad.
It's funny because I thought that it bothered me bad, and then I come to realize it doesn't bother me anywhere close as bad as you two.
Yeah,
Yup.
Alex knows about me, man.
You know who still is I'm on a pizza making kick right now. You know who's still eating a fuck ton of mozzarella cheese and regretting it? This guy.
Sometimes Wei Zhang, dude. Sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah. Can't help it.
Do you say
other
Young Wei
than-
Koo?
Wei Zhang, man. It's Mandarin for it is what it is. You guys don't speak that?
Other
All
than
right.
that, I'm all about oat milk in my coffee now.
Yeah. Oh, milk's popping.
Love
All
the
right.
oat milk.
Fan
All right,
mail number
so-
3.
The second, well, I guess my second one. It's from Mrs. Kane.
Oh man, I had her as a substitute one time.
Attention, podcast boys. Also addressed to fan mail.
Yeah.
There was a legit stamp on it as well.
Oh,
Whoa.
This one, not postcard. This was letter form.
You just gotta love it.
So, hey guys, I don't understand all the sports talk, but can get behind a good food debate. What is the ultimate sweet, salty food combo? Syrup and bacon is the number one for me. Keep up the great work. From Mrs. Kane.
All right.
That's a tough one, actually. I did not read this beforehand. That's the
To
first
me,
time I've seen it.
this is a no-brainer to me.
what is it?
Mine is chocolate covered pretzels.
Mm, I'm going to. I have. You know what?
They're
You
all
say
right.
that. You say that. So my answer is specifically chocolate covered potato chips from Alp Sweet Shop.
Oh,
They're
I
the
never had
great.
those.
They're the great.
All
They're
right.
the fucking best.
I respect it.
Done.
I'll give you one. In Daytona is the only time I ever had it. There was a chocolate shop that had chocolate covered bacon.
Yeah.
Sounded like it would be terrible. I tried it and I thought it went perfectly.
So Lucho knows about this, and it sounds like the weirdest thing ever until you actually have it. But the syrup got me in the fan mail, so I'm gonna go with syrup and sweet potato fries.
Yup, that's huge.
That's a
Yeah, I
good
love that.
combo.
That
I
is a
love
very
that.
good combination.
I don't know
I
how
guess-
much you can. I don't know how much you can call it salty, but it's saltier than maple syrup. So
That's true.
It's still dessert, but I love salted caramel, like something salted caramel. I think that goes awesome together. But maybe that doesn't count. It's not really two foods. It's just salt on something.
I'm a big fan of just getting a handful of salt and sugar all in one ball and just downing it.
Funneling that shit.
Yeah, decent answers. But I always appreciate the fan mail.
I was
It's a
gonna
shame
say
that-
you know I'm lying because I have all of my teeth but one of them.
Perfect.
All right. And to start up a new segment, we already mentioned this, but the Mount Rushmore, or your Mount Rushmore, we could change the category every week. How about the Mount Rushmore of video game consoles?
Now, if you don't know what Mount Rushmore means, is essentially you're listing your top four.
Oh
of-
yeah, you're right. If you're not
whatever.
American,
If you don't, or if you just sucking stupid, you don't know what Mount Rushmore is. So your top four of something.
You someday.
I feel bad bringing this up, but not knowing what Mount Rushmore is a classic Anthony thing.
Yeah. I hope not. Anyway.
I hope not as well.
Those medium wings are awfully mild.
Yeah, or his ball bone on his ankle.
Open ball, cash bar. You gotta get drunk.
All right, so who wants to start off with this Mount Rushmore, dude?
I'll take.
so
I'll
wait, let
take
me-
this one.
Let
'cause
me. I think we should come up with a consensus Mount Rushmore, not
Oh,
your
okay.
personal one. I think we need, as a group, need to decide.
All right.
That's fair. There are four of us too, so
Then okay, I'm just gonna throw out Xbox 360 because I feel like everyone had that at some
Okay.
point. That was a lot of people. That was really the first.
That would've
Like-
been on my list. So.
I'm gonna list them all here while we're deciding.
okay. The first one,
Like-
what were you gonna say?
And
Mike?
64, I think, is an option, obviously.
Are we including handheld like Game Boys and shit?
You
I think we
could.
I think we can.
See, I'm not necessarily gonna like agree to a handheld because I was never a big. I like Game Boy, but I was never a big Game Boy guy.
What was the what are some of the ones that were popular, Tom? That
What, the handheld?
I only had a color, so I don't know.
Virtual, oh, definitely
Color,
Virtual
SP,
Boy. and Game Gear.
PS,
Virtual Boy.
PSP.
I got a fucking nosebleed playing one of those once. Ugh.
Golly. As far as consoles go, I guess you could start with Atari, do the Segas through.
Yeah, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo NES, Atari 2600,
Super
ColecoVision.
Nintendo,
All
Sega
right, give me a
Genesis.
second. Oh man, I don't like these three columns.
Gensis.
Seems like Lucho is gonna love this list, dude. He's
Like,
named-
Yeah,
it's
bro.
like I have my four favorites. I doubt it's going to be the consensus.
Fucking Neo Geo Pocket Color, Wonder Swan.
That's not getting on the
Sega
list.
Dreamcast.
Wow.
Listen, Dreamcast got shit on, but some solid games over
Dreamcast
there.
was the best console of that generation, and
And you
nobody
could, and
cared.
it was, you could
No.
easily hack it, so you could just
Yeah.
burn discs and
dude,
play
you didn't
CD.
even need to
play
hack it. It just played burn discs. It was
It just-
amazing.
What a fucking dumb console. Hey, should we make it play CDRs? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, totally. Fuck it. Why not?
So guys, I put some choices on here. Do you think this is a good enough selection? Sorry for everyone at home that can't see our selections right now. Think this is a good thing to
Yes.
choose from, or are we missing anything that you?
I personally don't think you're missing anything.
I think the Wii should be on there. I don't know if we would select it, but I mean, it's like the best-selling console of all time. I feel like it should
That's
at least
true.
have a spot.
Yeah.
The
No.
motion, the
gonna
motion
consider
controls are so overrated for me, and
Oh, yeah.
like there were so many bullshit games that were we have this motion control.
Should
we'll
I
just do
include
it.
PC? Does
No.
PC count? Okay.
No.
Bro, if PC's so great, when are they going to release PC 2?
Couldn't agree more. right.
Okay. I think you can strike Sega Genesis. You can
What?
strike PSP.
I'm cool with striking PSP.
Bro, I love
Genesis.
the Sega Genesis.
Genesis
was,
is on my list, dude.
Genesis
Yep.
was my first console. I
And
love it.
Sega
to
Genesis, my original Sega Genesis still works today.
death. Me
For
too.
what it's
worth.
Somewhere in my attic.
I think we can strike the original Game Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
It's tough to.
Honestly,
But,
I think
yeah.
we can
Take
strike
off-
PS3.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say PS3 was trash.
compared to
PS2
the
was
360.
so bad until
I would-
like late in its life.
I would take Xbox One off too.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
I'm
the
with you on that.
Xbone Blue. I hated it.
I like the console, but it's nowhere as good as PS4.
Oh, the VCR.
I gotta say, I mean, man,
Personally, I don't have Super Nintendo on my list. I don't know.
I think the Genesis.
Really?
I think the Genesis is a better console, better games. I love.
Completely.
I have the same. I have
Alright,
the same
let's keep it on for
argument
now.
with every Nintendo console. All the first party, the Mario games, your Zeldas, all those games are amazing, but they fail to get me
Can
outside
we
of that.
strike? Can we strike Wii?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about we?
I
How
just
about
wanted
we?
to make sure. That
How about
it
we
was,
each
like,
name our top 4 and then make a consensus based on that?
That's what I was gonna say.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll start just because I kind of had it in my head. All right. So my top 4 are for sure Sega Genesis, PS2, Xbox 360, and I'm gonna say PS4 just based on like the lifespan. I feel like for the last 6 years, it's been all PS2.
All right,
PS4.
wait. Can you repeat
Fair
that
enough.
again, Mike?
Yeah, I'll go in order. Only because we said different generations. I won't say Genesis and Super Nintendo, but I like.
think say whatever you want.
All right, then Genesis, Super Nintendo, even though I'm okay with scratching it, Xbox 360, and PS2. It's not necessarily in that order, but those are my top 4.
Okay.
All right. Well, my top 4. Oh, it's not necessarily in that order. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this and
Yeah.
give them some votes here.
That works.
My top 4, honestly, I think it's gonna be in no particular order. PS2, PS4, N64, and man, it's tough, but 360.
360 is just like the original, your online gameplay, your first like, wow, these graphics are so good.
Alex, you could go ahead and double the tally because that's exactly my list.
Nice. And Luch?
It's tough.
I don't think N64 holds up.
Luch, and remember, if there's something not on this list that's part of your
Yeah.
top 4, mention
Well,
it.
Bro,
Oh,
how-
Mike,
how
Mike,
else
you
am I gonna
just
get my
triggered me
fucking-
with that, Mike.
Dude, the N64, the games don't hold up. The graphics are dog. That's why the PS1 is the same. N64 games don't hold up. The graphics were dog shit because it was all that like, I don't know. I forget what the word I'm looking for is. It was like it looked
Paper
like
Mario?
It looked like
Bro, Paper
all the
Mario.
games looked like Paper Mario. They superimposed like like what looked like a cardboard cutout of graphics into the game.
Yeah, but
I want
It
to hear
doesn't
the
hold up
list
for me.
before I disagree fully.
All right.
I will say first off, I'm probably the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan you guys will ever meet in real life that doesn't have a fetish for it.
Okay.
But
Luch,
Super
what
Nin-
was the Sega? There was like the big Sega handheld thing from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Game Gear.
Was that what it was called? Yeah, I had
there
a Sonic.
there were two Sega handhelds. There was that, and there was a Sega Nomad that could play Genesis games on the go.
Oh no, I had the Game Gear and I had a Sonic game and I loved it.
Yeah. But Super Nintendo had the Mortal Kombat version that
It
had
ran
real
on
blood.
25D batteries.
So yeah, fucking
Yeah, too.
Jesus. Super Nintendo, PS2 are definites. Game Boy Color and Xbox 360.
I like your Game Boy Color pick.
All right, so we could
It's-
strike
Underrated.
Dreamcast, we could strike the DS, and these are our choices now.
Dude, like, it's so close between the 360 and the N64. N64 made, like, 3D movement in a 3D plane a thing, but Xbox 360 was the first thing to take advantage of the internet, like you said, and that's so much, in my opinion, that's just a little bit more.
We all survived the Xbox 360
Fucking
chats.
We all survived Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. And
Yeah,
fucking
Modern
Halo
Warfare
2
2.
lobbies.
I think 360's got to be on there.
It smells like bitch in here.
All right, so what, we got 360 up in the top 4.
PS2, in my opinion, definitely has to be on there.
I agree with PS2, and we all put it in our top 4 anyway.
Yeah,
And
PS2,
'cause
PS2 is just
but, like,
legendary.
God, what am I
Yeah.
doing here?
And because PS2 was miles better than Xbox, and then flipped for the next generation.
So,
and then
sorry,
flipped back.
We have 360 and PS2. Obviously, yeah, we all vote. So they're all both obviously on there.
I think we should we strike the 1 votes?
The Genesis and Game Boy
That
Color.
sucks.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just
I
not
loved my
a
Genesis
Sega guy
so
because
much.
I think Genesis and Genesis and Dreamcast are the 2 worst on there.
Oh, no way.
You see, I agree. I thought they were on of that list of 7. I thought they were the 2 worst.
I mean, they're going up against
You're
titans
splitting.
of the
You are
industry.
splitting
You're
hairs.
splitting hairs.
That's a finny.
So if I have to vote out of the rest of these 3 again, I'm dropping N64 from this.
I'm
don't
dropping Super Nintendo.
I don't think it holds up.
Ooh.
Like
We
I
might have
listen-
to flip a coin because
I know
Super
Tom
Nintendo.
is
gotta-
dropping Super Nintendo. 'Cause,
You got a loon handy?
like
I wish I had another coin, but I don't.
I
have
get
to
it, but
reach-
every time I go back and play Nintendo 64, with the exception of like WWF No Mercy, and I guess the original Super Smash, and like a couple of, but like GoldenEye, it does not hold up for me.
See,
Look, N64.
I completely agree with you on GoldenEye, dude. I loved GoldenEye. I can't play it anymore with modern FPSs. It's so clunky.
That's what it does for me. And I think like graphics wise, I understand like but the gameplay doesn't hold up. A Super Nintendo game with the not like forced like 3D crappy looking graphics, that gameplay holds up for me more than that era. Because I say the same about PS1. It's not just me shitting on Nintendo. PS1 is just as bad. The games don't hold up because of the crappy graphics and the crappy gameplay, the crappy camera work within the games. It's just very clunky and very difficult to like go back, a 25-year-old generation at this
I
point.
feel like I'm biased towards N64.
Don't get me
because
wrong,
That was
like
the first
fun-
console that came out in my lifetime.
Right.
That's the first console I
I
ever
think
played.
that's the first. It's also the first console I played, other than PC, because it's not a console.
Yeah,
But,
I played Gumby hard.
I think I'm biased a little bit because of that as well. So, Tom, you're slashing Super Nintendo, right? Because you have the
Yeah,
same list as me. All right, Mike says he's slashing N64. Luch, if you had to slash one of these consoles, which one are you slashing?
Honestly, of the one that's still there, I'd slash the PS4.
All right.
I know it's
Well,
a good
then-
console and all, but it doesn't have the history of
can't-
any of these.
It
And
does,
think
I
that's
mean,
important.
it doesn't because it's the newest. But just based on, I feel like for the time span I had it, the whole time span, ton of good games. I played it a lot. I think I'm just going with that. And then I can look
think
back
the
in
time
20.
played.
Yeah, I can look back in 20 years and go, hey, the PS4 was dog shit at the time. It doesn't hold up now that the
See, I don't
is
think
out.
I
Bro,
don't think
kid, if there's no VR headset, everything's like this.
I don't think it's gonna happen because I think it's similar to the 360, where just like for the length of time and so many people playing the 360 and the game.
That's why I suggested, what if new generation, what if the companies flip? What if the Xbox Series X is the superior console this time around?
It could.
Have you seen
It
the
could.
speaking of the Series X, have you seen the things where people are pretending that they're on fire and they're just blowing like vape smoke into the Series X?
I saw that thing where someone on Reddit put a GameCube on top, and look,
Yeah,
a new
it's
GameCube
perfect.
stand.
Oh yeah,
hold it.
GameCube.
We did.
I think
forget
I
about
shared-
it.
I think
Don't
I shared
worry.
it in our-
Literally everybody except for Phil forgot the GameCube.
It's funny. I used to play Madden on GameCube, and that was
Really?
it while I had the GameCube, and then it was done.
I used to play Luigi's Mansion on GameCube.
Oh, good game.
Oh, you know what? No, I also played it was one of those old war games because it wasn't Call of Duty, but it was like the other Medal of Honor. It was one of the Medal of Honors.
Oh, Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love
So,
that.
all right. Well,
so-
we had 2 votes against Super Nintendo, so that's getting slashed. So that
Medal
means
of Honor Frontline. I had an old piece of shit friend like steal that game from me. Like I vividly remember like came to my house
Oh, Mike,
and
that
then
was
like
your.
and then
Oops.
And then like the disc was missing. It was like the most obvious thing, and needless to
Oh.
say, not friends anymore. But
Hate it.
Kid's a dweeb.
Ooh, get his ass.
true story.
Yeah.
Got
So-
it.
So does that
Yeah.
edge out our 4, Alex?
It
Yeah,
does.
that's the
We
four.
have our Mount Rushmore. We have the 360, the PS2, the N64, and the PS4.
I would be that
I
salty,
respectfully disagree, but
I'd be
I
that salty crazy protester.
like this.
I'd be chiseling
Sorry.
in a scrawny Super Nintendo on the side.
It's a solid list. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny how like
Can't go wrong.
I just think I think we're all in that like I just think the Xbox 360 is like the unanimous number one. It just has to be for what it was.
I think the Wii gets an honorable mention from me once again.
I think it from me as well,
as
actually.
the only
For the
console
tech.
that we've played for 10 hours straight.
Well, no, I've played other consoles 10 hours straight, but
That's the
As a
only
group-
one for me.
as a group without playing online, yes.
Playing
Mhm.
fucking Smash Brawl. All.
Yeah.
It's
I
the only
remember when
console
we
that I
used
thought
to be able
would
to
burn
go
down my
back.
house.
We could go back and I forgot about your Wii.
I dented my ceiling with my Wii remote playing bowling.
Nice. I remember we used
Yeah.
to be able to go back though and look at the time played, and we were shocked. at
Oh,
how-
guys, I have a guest appearance at the end.
Oh,
Oh, hey,
Oh man.
Let's
Anthony,
go me.
Anthony, let me ask you, do you agree with our Mount Rushmore of
Ask
game?
him if he. Ask
game
him if he knows
consoles.
what
Hold on,
Mount
hold on. He
Rushmore
has to
is.
put the headset on.
Oh god.
Here.
Oh hi guys.
Hey, Luch.
Hi.
This is Luch. Hey, Anthony,
Lucho.
do you agree with our Mount Rushmore of game consoles? So our top 4 in no particular order: Xbox 360, PS2, N64, and PS4.
Yes, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Luch, what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask if he knew what Mount Rushmore was, like you asked before.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's pretty accurate.
Nice.
And
All
thanks
right.
for that-
I'm gonna
podcast.
I'm gonna read fan mail next week in advance. Fuck Anthony from Joey.
Yeah. I hate Joey.
All right. Let's.
All right. Hey,
let's-
thanks for letting me crash the podcast though.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Bye.
Hey.
We don't need to order these, right?
No.
They're just on Mount Rushmore, so it's just.
Yeah, no,
It's just
yeah.
Mount Rushmore.
Could you
but
imagine if they had to order the presidents like
If we put them in order, we disagree. I think we would disagree with that too.
Yeah.
yeah, of course we would.
Presidential power rankings.
I
James K.
I like-
Black's position will surprise you.
I prefer Grover Cleveland's second presidency over his first.
Yeah, this is riveting.
Evan Roberts would love it. He loves presidents.
All right, let's close out the podcast. I left this one open. I don't have a number one fan of the week, so I was gonna say, hey, let's decide it as a group. Who's the number one fan of the week this week?
The
I
internal
mean,
computer
Rock-
fan in the Xbox Series X.
You know, I'm gonna go unconventional. Give the fan award to Anthony for making a guest
Oh,
appearance
that's true.
Yeah.
on
Okay.
the podcast.
I was gonna say Rocco for learning the English language and handwriting in record
Yeah,
time.
I'm
to
going
send fan
Rocco.
mail.
Sorry.
Oh,
Anthony.
that's true. Yeah,
I'm gonna go
Anthony's
with.
second place.
I'm gonna go with Lisa for sending in that fan mail.
Was it Lisa or my mom?
Yeah.
Who
Oh,
knows?
okay.
See, that-
Just
there's
said Mrs. Kane.
discrepancies.
Or your grandmother.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Kane anyway. Oh, I guess either way. No, none of my grandparents are alive.
Well, they sent it in years
Beyond
and
the
years ago.
grave.
Oh shit!
My condolences.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to add on before we
No,
close this out?
I don't think we can go back from that
Salutations.
one.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
good.
Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the show and making it through
I
this.
just
if you made it
want
through.
to thank everybody for coming.
I just want to thank everyone for coming. And thank you all, Mike, Lucho, and Tom, for
Yeah,
being
man.
on the pod.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.
You'll
It's
see
great to
you'll
be
see my
on.
Christmas tree back here for the next 6 weeks. How many weeks till Christmas?
7.
Something like that.
I thought it was 6 weeks till Christmas and 7 till the end of the year.
Yeah, well, he'll have it up after Christmas.
Yeah. When do you take down your Christmas tree?
When I get unlazy after the new year, for sure.
All right. Perfect. All
There
right.
you go.
See you guys later.
See you guys.
Those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, ting.